Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, and with me tonight, I have a full panel. We have Mark Langridge, we have Stu Woolley, and Darius Bath Time is in the house. So it will be a hefty debate tonight. We will talk about the game yesterday, the loss 1-0 against Arsenal, a goal by Calafiori on a header, a corner kick. Was it a should it be disallowed? Was it a attack on Bayender? We will have the debate. But first of all, the headline of the show is all about Adam Wharton, the Crystal Palace midfielder. He was in action this week, and Man United were at the stands watching him, and we are scouting Adam Wharton. So maybe there is an opening for us to sign the midfielder at the end of the window. Only 2 weeks left now. Could it be done? Maybe. I'm just saying maybe. Or we have Morten Hjulmand. There are other options. There will be some updates on Højlund. Maybe he's going to Napoli, Italy, because Romeo Lukaku is injured for 3 months. So it will be interesting to see, should we try to sell Højlund or just loan him to Napoli. Inter are interested in re-signing Andre Onana. Let's see, what else do I have here? Sancho said no to Roma. You don't want to leave. I'm not effing leaving. That's what he's trying to do. You just want to sit out his contract and leave on the free and get a hefty sign-on bonus. It's all about the money. We'll also have the debate, and I will show you Bruno's heat map. Mark told me that it's very interesting to watch. So, guys, while you wait, I will play the intro. You can smash your like. If this is your first time on Tactical Devils, please subscribe, and we will be back after the intro. So we will see you in a sec. Boom, 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 and we are back. The Tactical Devils are back, and we have a full panel. It's me, it's Stu, it's Mark, and it's Darius. Bath time in the house. See, a lot of people have tuned in already. We have comments here from Tyrone Williams, John Edmonds, Mr. B, Rush Mano is in the house, coming in and saying boom. And is it just me? 43 evening, Jarvis evening, everyone. Madhouse coming in and say Wharton, no chance. Well, we will talk about it. How will he fit in the profile? If we sign him or not, I don't know, but at least we can have a closer look. We have Neil Davis here. Big fat no signing. Okay, so the devilish tacticals are not feeling it. We have John Edmund, Catherine nonsense McDade coming in and say Sancho is a waste of a effing time, lads. Yes, Catherine. Yes. No nonsense McDade. I wonder where that name comes from. Stu.
Well, straight talking all the time. She's like an arrow. No messing around.
Yeah.
No cutting through long grass. Straight to it. That's how you do it.
Rush Manos comes in and say this Wednesday is the deadline to start talks. Otherwise, we'll run out of time to do a deal. Yes, Rush Mano, time is on the essence. And this is also something we have to talk about. Mr. B, Catherine McDade, Abdi Libaks coming in, and yeah, that's the guys who have tuned in already. So, guys, if you haven't smashed the like, please share on X. You know the drill. You know the jazz. So, please, guys, Stu, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Have you recovered after the loss yesterday?
Well, I have. I mean, I always like it after a game because Twitter opens up your eyes. The casual fan that phones in TalkSport opens up your ears, and you come away thinking, wow, did you really watch the same game of football that I watched? And I was quite surprised by it all. But We drilled down on it last night. We demonstrated the areas that we need to improve in. We demonstrated the areas that were poor, the goal, etc. We demonstrated areas we really need to strengthen. But ultimately, a 1-0 win doesn't necessarily harm you the first game of the season. The best thing about it is you're still in a title race. Yeah, you might be 3 points trailing Liverpool and City and Arsenal, but ultimately you're still in a title race, so it doesn't necessarily matter. The irony of it all, though, the real comedy value to me was we ended last season in 15th, and we're in 15th as of yesterday. But I just thought that was quite comical. That just sat beautifully. That did. You couldn't have written that if you tried. So I saw enough from Cunha and Mbeumo particularly. I thought Mount was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Our problem is going to be this season our midfield, on what you do with that midfield and how you counteract issues that we've got, because we are woefully under-equipped and undervalued in our midfield. I thought De Ligt had a solid game. Look, Dallow's going to ease his way out, isn't he? And Ahmad's going to start, and Mazzari's going to come in. People were saying we should have played Heaven. Heaven's been a bit dodgy in pre-season. He's had his issues in pre-season, not quite settled down this season yet. So I think it was the right thing to do was to play Shaw. Shaw adds a little bit of a dimension to our game, but then takes it away at the same time. It's a very strange scenario with Shaw. But look, all in all, I'm walking into training this morning. I'm bemoaning a few things. I'm having a pop at Buendia and making it clear that is completely unacceptable. You're at this club for a reason. You don't do that. I'm having a word with Mount because he got pulled off the ball very, very easy by Saliba. It was a foul by Saliba on Mount as well. Actually, I've rewatched it. If you look what happened, he was pulling and tugging Mount all over the place. But again, you've got to come back to it. This is where Buendia should have dropped his elbow on Saliba's shoulder and use that for elevation to take the ball. I mean, you can get away with it. You can do it. If you just rest it on there, you're not pushing Saliba down. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just physical contact, which you're allowed to do. But Saliba,
stand on his feet.
Yeah, Saliba, if you noticed at that time, was kind of bent over forward, trying to push Mount out of the way and holding his shirt. And that's when Buendia's got to come in and do something. He didn't do it. And we all know what happened. So there was a couple of errors which I wasn't happy with, but overall I think we'll get a result on Sunday. No problem against Fulham. I see no issues with that game at all. I think we'll get a result there, and we've got an interesting 2 weeks of the window left.
Yes. So how's your week been, Mark? Have you? How did you see the game? And same to Darius. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Arsenal loss. Mark, you can go first.
Well, my week's not been great. I let Stu know we had someone pass away at work unexpectedly, so we're getting over that. But as weekend, had a game Sunday, 4-0 down, came back 4-4 with literally the last touch of the game. Header at the back post, Stu, you would have loved it.
Excellent.
One of the players on the pitch as well.
Right.
But yesterday's game, well, we went live on Balls Out podcast probably just before you went live yesterday. I was fuming with the game. For me, as a coach, there was so many flaws in the game that I wasn't happy with, but I was so happy to see United play better. So it was one of them. You look at it from one point of view as a fan and go, yes, we're playing some football. And then you look at it as a coach going, what the hell are you doing with no striker on the pitch? What are you doing when Bruno's going to leave Casemiro exposed? Those sort of things. It was very weird. we had things for the Arsenal game, but we saw none of it in pre-season. Yesterday's game. You've just touched on the goal. It was a blatant foul, Stu. You're right. As soon as Mason Mount's shirt his whole back is exposed. I don't know how the ref isn't seeing that. and he's literally got his arms like that between two players, stopping them. And then he leans on as he jumps. If anyone heard the match of the day or seen the short of, oh God, what's his name? Joe Hart. He went through exactly how it happened. He said Bayern did everything right and he was ready to come for that ball and the contact was perfect timing. As he steps, he puts contact on the hip, which pushes his weight onto his back foot and stops him from coming forward. So it's planned. But Mason Mount should have been between him and the goalkeeper. Stonewall penalty, not even looked at. Well, what's Mason Mount's actually technically pushing him into behind it?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is though. It's terrible. It's just terrible all around.
Hand on arm. And all this is looked by VAR, apparently.
They didn't look at it, did they?
Yeah, it was looked and cleared instantly.
Wow.
So, same as the penalty at the other end. Absolute bullshit. Oh, it was contact between two players. No, he took him down. Anywhere else outside of that box, that was a free kick. If they made contact with it, Cunha, like he did, where he went through the back of him, didn't touch the ball, brings the player down. So it's just normal VAR rules against in big games. They don't want to make those calls. But I was very impressed. I was very impressed with Mbeumo. Cunha's running off the ball, but we talked about it last week. Ahmad came on and stopped Mbeumo from scoring, got in his way. It wasn't the only time he got in his way. First half, we had a lot of balls into the box. Where was the striker? Who was playing that false nine or whatever they're meant to be? There was like 6 Arsenal shirts and not 1 Man United shirt as the ball comes across the box about 3 or 4 times. So, you're going to touch on Rasmus later, but I'm sorry. Why is it we say we play a player when we want to sell him, but Rasmus has been kicked out the entire squad? Where's Obi?
We will have the Rasmus debate later, but I think I know where you stand. But it will be interesting.
Play someone else.
Yeah.
Play Xerxes. Well, we can't play either of the Ethans because you've loaned them out. There should be a striker on the pitch.
Cheeto.
Yeah.
Cheeto or Sesko. But for me, I think personally, I would have gone for Sesko, kept him on for one half or something like that, and then changed up the game because I think we need a striker. We looked toothless, I would say, the entire game. We had our chances, but I wasn't sitting on the edge of my seat, when we were attacking. We could have scored, but XG 1.5. Okay, I think they were a little bit generous, to be honest.
It was the Mbeumo header, wasn't it? The Mbeumo header, which was on target, which he made a good save from, but pushed the XG up. I don't think he could score from it because of his height. But 20 shots. I can't even remember 20 shots. That's how many we must have taken from outside the box. Again, and not, even when Xerxes came on, he was not set up for one shooting chance. So we can
bath time. Quick recap. How did you see the game yesterday?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I think I'll sort of echo the lads a lot in what they're saying. I think that we saw a good base going forwards there. And it's not, as Stuart said, it's not the worst thing in the world to get a very tough early examination. Arsenal are, unfortunately, one of the best teams in Europe. They're getting to semi-finals of the Champions League. So you need to be good to score against them. You need to be good to defend against them. And I think, first of all, that when you look at that corner, you've got to have a real go at Bruno as well for conceding the corner. It's you can't be doing that in your own box, dilly-dallying. I think that when you look at what happened with Bayinda, most people would say that is an individual error from the goalkeeper. What isn't an individual error, though, is having Mason Mount blocking Saliba. That's more on the setup that we have at corners, and I think that has to change. We need to be much stronger with who we have there. And when Sesko comes in, presumably he's going to be the flat header at the near post, and maybe that'll change stuff. But also, don't let Dorgu off for his part in that goal.
Wrestling away, with Calafiore.
He's got hands on him, just pushing him off, and it's not acceptable. Like, I think Hjulmand, or whatever he's called, the Bournemouth centre-back, might have done something similar to Xerxes last season for a goal against Bournemouth. You can't let players put hands on you without getting something in return. And he's just pushing him off. And I found, and it's stuff like that, those fine details that needs to change. So for me, it's not just an individual error. In terms of the game, I thought that like when you play with wing backs, like basically either the wingers are going to be on top or the wing backs are going to be on top because of the starting positions and so on. And I thought it was really interesting that Martinelli and Saka were not in that game at all. And Dorgu and Delo, I felt, had the better of them in the first half, which was great to see. And then when Calafiore, whatever he's called, was trying to get in to make a difference, Mbeumo is good enough to receive a 40-yard ball, keep it under control, and whiz ahead. Sorry, am I interrupting?
No. That's just one of Jarvis's code.
Okay.
You have some gifted membership. Romano will come to it as soon as Darius is finished with his assessment of the game. Take your time. No worries.
All right. Thing about Mason Mount is Mount had one really, really important moment in the game, which was where he successfully defended a transition against Saka after a corner. Like, do you remember it where he won a duel down in the corner? Now that's exactly what you want from a Manchester United player. That's the sort of thing we used to see Rooney do against like Henry and stuff, chase them down. And he combined really well with Mbeumo and with Cunha. But you need, as the boys are saying, you need a presence in the box. And this is the issue. This is the big issue that I have with the midfield. Is you've got two trebuchets in the midfield, in Bruno and Casemiro, who get the ball and launch it, like just catapult it over the top. And there's not enough support. We're not moving through the thirds correctly as a team. And I think Mount probably did pretty well because he caused their midfield a lot of issues. Like, you would think that Rice, Ødegaard, and Zubimendi would absolutely dominate us, but because there were basically two behind them in Mount and Cunha, they weren't really able to get to grips with us. So there's a lot of promising things there, but we have to attack better as a team, as a unit, and so on. Like, Delo, I mean, he got some great positions, couldn't put a cross in. And what was quite nice in the second half is when Sesko came on, Shaw picked out a cross that hit Mount in the box. And that was the only time we put a ball in that was good. And as for the Amad Diallo stuff, that boy is a very talented player, but he's probably one of the... I don't think he understands what he's meant to be doing a lot of the time. I think he slows play down. And he was Arsenal's best defender in the second half for me. I'd like to see him really rethink what he's doing on a football pitch before he comes back on, because like Mbeumo he looks great, looks like a proper United player.
Agree. And Mbeumo looked fantastic yesterday, and same with Cunha. I think Cunha is a level above. We talked about it last Monday. I think
we did.
He excels in this Man United thing, man, and. You know, we won't come in 15th this season with him in the team. I think we will be at least top 10 and hopefully 7, 6, maybe 5. I don't know. I don't dare to hope, but you never know. You know, Stu with his 66 points for prediction. We will see about that. But first, I want to go to the gifted memberships from Roshmano. So let's just play a jingle and celebrate. Thank you, Roshmano. You are a legend. Thank you.
There you go, Roshmano, the legend. Oh my God! Do you know what? I'm going to give him the glasses. Catherine, no nonsense, Madeira. She'll have a heart attack. She'll have an absolute heart attack. There you go, Rushy. Just for you. Just for you.
Yes.
10 memberships. 10 memberships. Who do we have? We have Shivam Kashyap. He's received a membership.
Yeah.
Eduardo Almanza has received
Eduardo
a
Almanza.
Yeah. Tom Porter. Ronnie. Darren Young. Abden or Abden. Yeah. Soccer Junkie. Ghostface. Vulps. The legend that is Vulps.
Yes, Vulps. Big ups to
and Fletch.
Fletch.
Nice.
Big up, Fletch.
I'll tell you what, if Fletch is English and he remembers Ronnies, and Fletch was a legend with the 2 Ronnies. So, and if you're not English, check out the 2 Ronnies and check out Fletch, and they absolutely
the two Ronnies.
Absolutely legendary, Rushmano there. Thank you so much, mate. That is means a lot to the channel. That means a lot to myself and Jarvis as well. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And welcome to all new members.
Yes. Welcome to the team of the Devilish Tacticals. Now you will get the green badge, and you will get the you get to use the special emojis, the Jarvis face, the Stu face, the Amarim face. I think you have a Maguire face, don't we?
Or you can have a Slabby face. Yeah, you can.
And a Glazer out emoji. So yeah, you have the opportunity now to bomb the chat with Glazer out. Yes, I just want to thank you, Tyrone, for reposting the stream on X. Tyrone always helps out. We are officially now 147 people watching, 90 people on X and 55 on Tactical Devils. I assume there will be more people as soon as the Leeds Everton game is over. And we also have Jim the Rat Judas coming in, evening all. By the way, did you see the tweet, the guy filming outside the Old Trafford when Avram Glazer came out of the car?
Yeah, I did see him. Yeah, I did see that tweet.
Did you hear him shout?
I did. The thing is, I don't know why Glazer bothers coming over. You know, you just stay away. You better off just staying away.
Yeah. I see, guys. Bombing. By the way, you are bombing the chat with the Glazers out emojis. I don't know if you can see.
Yes. I was just looking at that. I just had that up as well. Yeah. And Vulps is bombing our faces as well. Bless him, which is good. Big Harry as well. But get those Glazers gone. That's what we want. Get the Glazers gone.
Great community, great people.
Good comment.
Say again, Mark. Sorry.
United versus everybody makes a good comment there.
Yeah. Sean. Okay, let's read.
Yes.
Bit harsh. The 3 buckets. Trebuchet. Okay, thank you. It's not my comment. So what is trebuchet?
Trebuchet is a catapult.
Yeah. Who made the remark? I don't know who made the remark.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I noticed. I thought it was the best I've seen Casemiro play for us, because he managed to be on the half turn constantly from the defence, and he was just pinging diagonal balls around, and they barely missed the target ever. They were playing around instead of Stu. You're one of these ticky tackers. Doesn't really like it played around at the back, do you? Where you go right back, left, centre back, left back.
No.
It was literally left back, centre back into Casemiro, and he switched the play quickly into space where he finds like Mbermo and people like that who did stay up. So it's obviously a counter-attacking tactic and put him for a reason. And we lost
looking for a keeper.
Newcastle came on.
Yeah, I'm looking for a keeper, not to drop it out to the fullback, but drop it out about a third the way up the pitch. That's what I'm looking at, out wide. So we can do something with it. So the winger or the wing back, whoever it is, can control it, can drop it inside, can step forward or step rear. He's got 3 or 4 options with the ball. When you pop it out to Shaw, or you pop it out to Yoro, or you pop it out to Heaven, whoever's playing there, if you're not getting Dorgu or you're not getting Ahmad or Dallo come in for you to create space behind for Mbumo, which they kind of weren't doing, because Dallo was kind of betwixt and between, as he always is. He always plays this strange position
He doesn't know what position he's playing, does he?
No. Whereas Mbeumo's got the ability to be able to come short and run with the football. We've actually got a player now that can run with the football. He can control it through from midair. He can watch the bounce. He can watch the player at the same time, take the ball, beat the player, and get into space, because he did it on 3 or 4 occasions. You've got Cunha, who can do exactly the same on the left-hand side. Or is all right, he started off during the middle, but you've still got this ability to be able to take the ball from deep. And then here lies our problem with the Bruno conundrum that we've got right now, because Mbeumo and Cunha have that ability. Sesko's got the ability to hold the play up. We saw it in 1 or 2 areas of his play when he came on. Took the ball nicely on his chest on a couple of occasions, but dragged the defender wide. As soon as you drag the defender wide, that's Mbeumo and Cunha's space all fucking day long. That's where they will absolutely flourish this season. But what do you do with Bruno? Do you take him out of the equation, or do you leave him in the equation? And then what do you do with Casemiro and Ødegaard? You got to take one of those two out of the equation completely. You have to.
You can't take your captain out of the team. Some would say.
I think you can. Look,
I agree. We're older, but in this day and age, people will say you can't take your captain out of the team.
Yeah,
and
because
they're playing for one spot.
Yeah, but the captain doesn't mean anything anymore. Those days are over. The captain means nothing.
What about the 100 million then?
Well, you should have taken 100 million for him. Me and Jarvis did a show, Darius, a while ago, and I was up front. I said, take the money. We're not going to get that money for him, mate.
But since they haven't taken the money, they've got to play him.
Well, they do, and therein lies the problem. If you push yourself into that conundrum where you've got to play a footballer. And by the way, football has allowed this to happen over a period of time. Over the last 20 years, football has allowed players to become all almighty. Every club on the planet has allowed players to become all almighty. It's just ridiculous. And Bruno shouldn't be that way. There's no player that's indispensable in any team. And to me, I would take him out of the equation. I don't care if he wears the armband or not. Give it somebody else. Give it to Ligt.
Amarin did make a comment about his discipline. Amarin did make a comment about Bruno needs to be more disciplined in midfield. So I don't know if that would be a perfect segue for Jarvis if you've got that heat map.
Yeah, well, I don't. But I just want to say, when it comes to Bruno, Amarin wants Bruno to be more disciplined. Haven't he watched Bruno for the last 10 years? Yeah, is he not aware what type of player he is? Do you think he can tame him? Do you think he can make him? Because we all saw it. It's obvious when we start to chase the game, Bruno gets erratic, he gets stressed out, and he starts going into his old patterns. And we looked at it yesterday, Stu. We saw how he and this was about the 55th to the 60th minute. And then he starts. The engine starts. He starts to take the chances. He starts to take the risks, and he moves out of the system and starts going rogue, as Stu likes to say. But the system suffers right away. The system suffers. We you can see it. You get players that don't know what to do. They need to fill the pockets. We talked about Luke Shaw, for example, yesterday when was it Havertz who dropped down and moved away, and suddenly Saka filled that pocket just because of Bruno's movement 2 seconds before. So again and again we see this, but you have to have a trained eye to see it, like Stu.
But something's got to give though with Bruno. It has to give. Shaw makes a point that you can't drop him because of his creativity, but actually, what's he creating? Because we didn't necessarily create anything massively clear cut yesterday. All right, we had Mbeumo with a couple of half chances. We had Cunha with a couple of half chances, really. So it's a question of, you don't know if you're going to miss Bruno if you don't take him out of the equation. Then this is the problem. If you don't have the balls as a manager, and you're not brave enough as a manager to do that, then look, De Bruyne was slowing down. He was slowing City's play down last season. So he was. I know he was injured for a lot of the season, but when he was back and he was fit, he wasn't playing. He wasn't first choice because they found a way of playing without him. They found a way of playing without Rodri. City have at this point in time. We need to find a way of playing without Bruno. because next season, if he's not here and he's not starting 11, you've got to find a way of playing. You've got to take, football isn't about, well, you're Bruno Fernandes or you're Kevin De Bruyne or you're Rodri or whatever. You have to play constantly. You don't. If you are becoming detrimental to the team or the group, you've got to come out the equation, irrespective of what you offer. Now, I'm not going to harp back on Fergie, but Fergie made a career out of it. Absolute career. Yeah. Well, there's loads of them. Loads of them. He would take these players out of the equation and try it without them. I'm gonna rest you, I'm gonna drop you. I don't really care how it comes out in media. You're not playing this game. And if you're gonna start crying about it, then I know the type of person I'm dealing with. So for me, I understand people's reticence about not taking him out of the equation, but for me, I would do it. Look, I've been around the game long enough to know you don't rely on one footballer, two footballers, three footballers. There's always somebody out there chomping at the bit. I saw yesterday reams of tweets, absolutely reams of tweets. What happened to Mainu? Where was Mainu? What's going on with Mainu? Why haven't we got Mainu in the team? And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, didn't I, Jarvis and Mark? Stick Mainu as a 6. Oh, you can't play Mainu as a 6. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. Yes, you can.
But Mainu didn't play yesterday because he wanted that ability from those two holding players to put the ball in behind. That's what he wanted. He wanted counter-attacking football.
No, I know, and I get that. But my point being is you can push Mainu into a 6. You can all he needs is discipline. This is the thing about football is you just need discipline. Yeah. And Bruno doesn't right now at this point in time, hasn't got the discipline to play in, I don't think, in Amarin's system.
But Stu, do you think it's discipline, or is it, things comes natural for you as a player? And we talked about things goes faster in the Premier League, 20% faster since 2020. The last 5 years, everything goes quicker and quicker. Yeah. And you don't have time to think, and sometimes you just have to act on pure instinct. And Bruno's instinct is not defensively. He doesn't know how to act, when to play it safe, when to take risk.
He showed that in the penalty box.
He's a gambler. Bruno is a gambler.
He did clear off the line in the penalty box as well.
He did. But
I think my issue with Bruno is I love him as a player, but he's definitely not suited to this system. But I think that he has to play because of how important the width is to Amarin teams. You need a switch passer, and United. It's very, very strange, but we struggle with the only ones who reliably can do it are Bruno, Casemiro, and Maguire. I know
Lenny Euro in preseason did it. Quite well, but
Euro put us under a lot of pressure yesterday trying to switch across the pitch. I don't like my players in wide areas switching. You want it to be mainly from the centre for me. But sorry,
that wouldn't be a switch of play though, would it? That would just be a pass out wide from the centre. That a switch of play is a 40-50 yard diagonal ball.
Yeah, in my mind, from the center of the park. The other one would be a crossfield ball, just for my vernacular. But what I mean is that we need players that are able to spread play from the center of the park, and we don't have any really. Which is why I think yesterday you saw Bruno kind of playing at centre back and centre midfield and all these different things. And the big issue that I had with Kobe Mainu not coming on. Was that we were desperate for a half space crosser yesterday. We've brought Maguire on, we've brought Sesko on, and we have Ugarte in the half space or doing silly shots or passing it backwards or somewhere. There's a real lack of sort of sensible recruitment in the team of having fast players that can recover space behind, get ahead of the ball, but also deliver quality in the box. And Bruno is the only one who kind of ticks some of those boxes. So until we can replace those key attributes, I think you're going to see him in any formation. But maybe he could do a Ten Hag Amarin and do what he did, where he used to put Bruno out on the right wing for the last 30 minutes of the game when Bruno just completely lost it.
Yeah. That's actually a good idea, I believe. But I would rather put him on the bench the last 30 minutes because when he loses it, the team suffers. And I just want to show you this because Stu and I we talked about this yesterday. So let's just bring it up. I wanna get your take on it, Mark and Darius. You see here Bruno centrally. Casemiro has drifted out of the pivot. He's pressing Ødegaard, and Saka has inverted into the central area. Bruno takes on the task and trying to pick up Saka, but the way he presses, it's directly from this side. He's not aware of the space in behind, and I think a defensive player will always be aware of it and angle his run this way just to play it safe. Yep. So it's just small details how Bruno operates, and see here.
Well, he obviously
just
doesn't
gets running in
realise
circles afterwards, and it ends up with Luke Shaw have to push out and leave Havertz here, and Havertz he drags with him De Ligt at the same time. So he opens up a huge gap here for Saka to run into, and if the crosses came from Arsenal, Saka would have been blank on the goal. So you see here, look at Saka here, and all of this happens because of one thing. It's Bruno's movement and how he presses Saka, and I think it could be avoided.
But look how he's just left Havertz there. So not literally, you can go that through in slow motion, and Bruno makes two huge mistakes in football.
Yeah.
Right? So starting, that's a 6-7 yard pass. He's already too far away from his player. Now, what you do when you have five at the back, you'll be man for man in midfield. It doesn't matter who it is. You see a white shirt, you mark him. That the shirt you leave spare is the furthest one away from the ball on the opposite side of the pitch. That's why we talk about the out ball, because that is the only ball, and you should be able to there. So he's pressed the wrong side. Saka now plays a 1-2 with Havertz. Bruno should be following Saka if that is his man. He should not leave his man. The ball goes. I'll stop walking. He'll start walking now. Watch Havertz go with the ball. Arms went to go up. Now Havertz is going to run straight across him, and he walks across to mark the spare man outside the box, leaving him a free run into the box. Bruno does nothing defensively, and he should not be in midfield for that reason. He is a number 10. If you're not going to play him in a 10, you don't play him. And that is a prime example. I know there's loads of those examples throughout the game. I saw it with my own eyes. And the fact he went to put his arms up because they didn't pick him up is why that armband should come straight off his arm, in my opinion. I'm not having that. He looks to blame other people. Because what you'd be screaming at him, wouldn't you? Follow your player. Because centre-back's there now finishes with two players on one.
I picked up on this last night, Mark. Charles was talking about the Bruno, and I said to him, stop and watch Havertz. It's hugely clever play by Kai Havertz, massively clever play. And then when you watch it unfold and you look at where we're set, if you start it right from the very beginning, we're set up quite nicely at defence there, Mark. Brilliant.
Yeah, five across the back, 3 across midfield.
Bruno's
around the left.
Bruno's 5 yards shy of where he needs to be. But Saka was always going to turn onto his left peg. He was always going to switch the route, so to speak, and turn on his left peg. Watch when he turns, and watch Havertz. Just watch Havertz turn and go. Havertz is ready for the 1-2. Watch now. There. That's all it takes. Havertz's position, because he knows exactly which way that De Ligt is facing. So he knows which way, so he knows he can turn and go across. But what he does absolutely brilliantly there, and this is where we all switch off, is he'll drag De Ligt. He's got to drag De Ligt across. Shaw's in no man's land. Okay. And then all Saka does is running behind. Now watch the ball here now. Watch this there. Watch Saka just slow his run perfectly. Watch the ball out to the left back. The left back was quicker, and he got his cross in now. They score.
Yeah.
but he put his foot on the ball. I have to say, as bad as it was on
Bruno, and you see Saka signalling that low arm is not his running arm. That's him signaling to put it in.
Yeah. So and what I said to Jarvis was, he's absolutely 100% on Bruno, but it was fabulous centre forward play by Havertz. I can't believe what I was talking about.
On this point, Stu, explain to me how Bruno does not stick with this player in front of him.
Oh, well, because he's lazy.
Yeah, because he's not sticking with a player, but he's currently 2 yards off of his.
Again, he's lazy there. But to be fair, Arsenal didn't play it right because the ball is directly into Saka. Bang, thanks. Good night, Vienna. Saka's peeling away, and we are ripped to pieces by 2 passes. Unbelievable! It was great forward play. Really great.
It was great forward play. First off, the wide player. Where is Ahmad? Because this is in the second half. Once Ahmad was on, didn't chase his player back.
No, he's down. I think he's down here, isn't he? Somewhere, Ahmad.
Ahmad is here.
Oh, sorry, Ahmad's
not on his player.
I forgot. Sorry, I'd lost me. Aaron's dog is there.
No.
But again, the issue is the issue is following the run. Now, you could argue that De Ligt was slightly off of Havertz, and so was Shaw. But
Shaw jumped because Bruno messed up.
Yeah, but again, it's ultimately two balls in, one into Saka. Saka makes a turn straight to Havertz. Havertz turns. Saka moves in. Cross comes in. Bang! I can't believe they didn't score off it. Terrible.
No,
but Bruno, that's why he can't play as a 6. You know, a Rodri would have been closer to Saka, or he would have had somebody. He would have dragged Shaw in. So he would have made some kind of communication to make sure that Saka didn't have that ability to turn.
But how many goals did we concede from? You'd say this ball doesn't come in, right?
Yeah,
well, we know it doesn't.
Yeah.
But this is also a prime example. If that cutback from last season is played, they score again because he doesn't follow his man. There's still another man on the edge of the box free because people haven't done their jobs.
Yeah, but if you play that on, we recover quite quickly. So if you play that on,
so the cutback can come here, and it actually could
look
be.
How quickly we do kind of get ourselves recovered. If you play that on, we recover relatively quickly to there. And Yoro's going to block that. So Yoro's in a good position. That he'll shoot there. He was never going to cut across, but
if he doesn't block it, Havertz or Saka just need a touch on it to put it past the goalkeeper.
But again,
that's more luck than judgment.
Yeah, but again, Bruno was a little bit late in reacting, so Yoro was quickly to react. Again, Ahmad was too slow getting across. But to be honest, it shouldn't have even got that far. It should have been a straight cross, whipping cross right across the goal. And
Saka that's what I'd be screaming for. I've made
that's
my
what
run.
That's what I'd be talking about this morning. Yeah,
and in. But
can you just take it back a second, Jarvis? Like right to the start, because
I want to have your take on it, Darius. So please.
Because I think this is more like if you go right to the start, I think this is more of a system thing. Like as a midfielder, like I'm sure the lads will know, there's a very old coaching adage, which is behind and between, which is exactly where Saka is. He's behind the pivot in between them. Here, I would expect a centre back to come up and take Havertz. We've seen with Amarin systems, he likes his centre back to follow the defender around. I think that what this is that this is a zonal setup as opposed to a man-to-man one. And when you play it in and he turns, that's a lovely take. Here, like you can't allow him to turn like that. Like if this is a press, Bruno should genuinely be fired as a professional footballer, because when you're sort of being coached on how to press, one of the key things is arriving as the player takes his first touch. Fred, absolutely brilliant at it. It's like the best. Putting that pressure on as they take it the first time is exactly what you want. So I don't think that this is a press here. And sure, I think he's improvising here, and I'm very, very disappointed with Dorgu in these clips as well, because he doesn't tuck in enough for my liking. He's a bit too wide. I'd love to see one of Cunha and Mbueno turn up in this picture, but if you take it forward a lot more until where the pullback opportunity comes, and just watch Yoro. So, Havertz is going to spread the play there. God, imagine if they had a channel run. Right, watch Yoro and what he expects from Bruno. Just keep pushing it. You'll see it. There.
Yeah.
He's gesturing for Bruno. This is almost certainly some sort of like zonal setup they have where they're more concerned about occupying zones than they are with dealing with the man. Now, Ahmad has given that guy far too much space. You're completely correct. You can't give a Premier League footballer like 10 yards out there, and you definitely can't have like I'm not sure who that Arsenal player is. Let's say Zubimendi. You can't have him there. Is it Rice? Sorry, yeah. But
Rice, that's who he's signaling to. Who's got Rice on the edge, because that's where you don't want Declan Rice.
Exactly. You can't. I mean, you just can't allow access to the half space like this. So I think that whilst Bruno isn't really doing anything particularly good here, I think that this is more endemic of a system problem rather than an individual problem, because I don't think that coaches give players the opportunity to go and solve problems anymore. Like, certainly not when you play with a two. There's no man in between the lines to pick up a Saka, and there's no one there to get out between the lines. Like, you can see the lines are nice, that they're compact, that they're all shaped up well, but you've got to have a player that is able to go and, like a plumber, that is able to get in there and solve a problem.
I think I said about this last week. When the ball gets turned over, which one, Mbeumo or Cunha, is dropping in to make that extra midfielder? And they should have been back there. And this is a prime example of not enough training. Because they haven't had that much time on the training field, courtesy to what United want to try and tell you, because all the time in America, they train. So,
I mean, ultimately, as I say, when you look at it from the beginning, we're okay. We're actually set up quite nicely. From a defensive unit, I had no issue with that. I was playing in that back four or back five at that particular time. I wasn't quite happy. I wouldn't have allowed Saka. I would have pushed Shaw in to make sure that Saka doesn't turn. But Havertz is the key element to all of this anyway. Havertz is the key to developing the play, because Havertz looks like he's not interested. All of a sudden, Saka, bang, bang, bang. And that's football. 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3. That's football. Yeah. That's Saka turning into Havertz. Havertz across, out to the wing, carries your run on, gets the ball in, bang. That's football.
As someone who trains a back five regularly, what you just said is spot on. Like, when most teams play 3 up front in football these days, no one plays 5 at the back. Like, this is a new formation we're starting to. It's obviously not new, but in the Premier League, it's a new formation. We're getting 5 at the back. You'll see these drills done all the time, normally using 2 holding midfielders and someone jumping, and they create the triangle. So the player comes out and someone narrows in to fill that spot. That's what went wrong there. Shaw had to jump. Exactly. Shaw jumped out. Dorgu could now not get in either, all because of one mistake. And that's what happens when you play systematic football instead of playing football and going,
correct.
No one, I am going to mark him.
Yeah, so what Darius was talking about is when Shaw steps, or should have stepped.
He should have followed him from day one.
And Dorgu comes in. Dorgu comes in and replaces Luke Shaw.
Yes.
And that way, Saka doesn't get in.
But
the beauty of football, and this is why I love football, by the way, as much as I could tear it apart, and I did last night, didn't I, Jarvis? I tore us apart. I just loved the way that Havertz was away. Yeah. One quick bang. He's away. He sets himself.
It's a drop of the shoulder, isn't it? He's facing the other way, drops the shoulder, outside the turn.
And people don't rate Havertz. They've never rated him, but it was perfect centre forward play. That was absolutely brilliant.
Shows the picture.
Yeah,
shows what he wants to do.
I'm not going to.
Sorry,
debate. But I have one more Bruno clip. There is a red thin red line through all of this. We will talk about midfielders. We will go to Wharton. We will analyze Wharton and how we'll fit into this system. But before we go to that, I just want to show another clip that Stu and I talked about yesterday, and it's about Bruno again. And in this instance, it's about his decision making. You know, instead of delaying and setting the block, he jumps and he gets played through, and he's always hunting. You know, the high risk, high reward, trying to win the ball and to release a vertical ball in transition, you know, and those constant gambles, it disrupts our rest defense and it collapses the midfield shape entirely. So this is another instance. You know, I'm not a Bruno hater. I'm just pointing out he's not a central midfielder. He's a number 10. This is where he should play, and we are suffering under Amorim because of this. So in this instance, you see Arsenal here have the ball. They're trying to play out, and look at Casemiro here. I think it takes out Subamendi. So Casemiro goes quite high in the pitch in the press play. We always talk about the Pentagon shape, 3 up front and the 2 behind when we press. But it should always be staggered, and the last man standing should always be aware of his space and his zone. And we saw that against, I think it was West Ham when they scored. They played through our pivot, and it was Soucek who received the ball and played it through to Bowen, and they scored because of this. Again, here you see Casemiro high up the pitch. Subamendi, you know, is brilliant, receiving the ball with the back against the goal and turning and getting playing through our first line. So now Subamendi plays the ball. And look who comes here on Calafiori, who have inverted as the fullback into central. Yeah, Bruno totally coming in 100 kilometers at an hour,
but go
trying
back
to
2
win the ball.
seconds. He's being told who's got that player again. Why are you not on that player? The arm comes up from Cunha saying, "Why are you not there?" Because he's too busy telling everyone else what they should be doing.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of problems here, Jarvis. Like, if you take it back right to good old Casemiro, do you remember, like, so when you're pressing, you've got to know your distances. And I'm sorry, but that is too far away to put pressure on the ball.
There is no press on there at all. There's no press on. That should be the start of the mid block right there, right now.
Yeah, so, but he's following his man up the pitch, which is like I hate these kind of systems because I like, well, I probably have the terminology wrong, but I like a zonal press where your zone is the player next to you, so that you don't get massively out of shape. Like you will, like when one player goes to apply pressure on the ball, the rest of you sort of move in that way. So it does. So you're still able to get pressure on the ball, but keep your shape. And what Calafiore does, I mean, I don't know what Casemiro is doing. This is such a stupid thing to do, because what's he going to do? Is if they play it back to the goalkeeper, is he going to like top waddle off, like jumping from the line? But then look,
someone's called the press. That's what someone's done. Someone in the team has called the press because it's a verbal instruction. When for like whatever the trigger is, someone will be like, "That's the trigger." Like press now, or there'll be a verbal instruction, and that's the only reason he goes. He's got to his man, and we already know that. And Burmo probably should have followed that, or Cunha should have dropped, but he signalled with his hand who's taking him, and that comes as soon as he inverts, because he just walks through that. Well, he doesn't walk; it's a very slow ass jog into that position to get the ball. Now in Burmo,
he's passing him off, isn't he?
Or does he signal? I just let it run through, and I just want to see if he signals, because Cunha does. You can see Cunha's players in front for the pass, so I've got that. I'm ready to go. Why are you not there? That's as simple as that.
Well, what's lovely about his movement is he gets behind and between, which is always the mark of a really good a player that sort of like understands the relationship of space. But what Bruno does here, man, is like you can't run at full speed like that. You've got to close down, slow down, and then slow down and be on your tippy toes, like so that you can deal with the change of direction. And this is such kid-on football, man, what Bruno does. It's an absolute panic from him, rather than what anyone else would do is, all right, they've broken our lines. We have to give up space now. We've got to drop back.
Delay.
Exactly.
Delay,
Force it out wide.
Yeah.
Like, but what you can't do is come in like Jackie Chan in Rush Hour doing this. And this is, I mean, this is awful from Bruno, because look, the team have got it. They've got it wrong. It happens. Like Casemiro, like, thinks there's a press on. They're all waiting for that pass back to the Arsenal left centre back. It gets played between the lines. You've got to adapt to what is going on around you and not sell the house. And Bruno's he's just gambled everything here, and we're in trouble.
But if you do sell the house there, you have to body check the player. He can't be allowed to continue his run. You have to give away. I've gone for the ball ref. You know, I've blocked him out.
Yeah. Maguire did that, didn't he, when Ugarte sold him?
Maguire did that within like 10 seconds of being on the pitch. So,
well, I think he's just not. He doesn't, like, you know, I've played in midfield for a very, very long time. It does take, like, it does take a long time to pick up the not even the dark arts, but the real sort of expert understanding of the position. And Bruno, he doesn't have that sense for danger when he's defending, but more importantly, he just has two gears, walking or a million miles an hour. And I think that's okay if you're playing him in a transition heavy team at number 10 or something. But to have him as a number 6, like expecting him to play like Pirlo or Modric or someone who can just pop the ball about and stretch teams and then find the gap, it's madness from Amorim, in my opinion.
Jarvis, I'm interested to know if you think this is the floating 8 position he's been given from the from Amorim's old team, from Sporting. So he would play it as floating, what they called a floating 8. These bullshit positions I've never heard of in my life. But basically, it's a box-to-box position. Your 8 plays as a 10 as well. So it's like, almost like a diamond formation.
Yeah. We heard a new formation. We play a diamond now. That's what everybody's saying sometimes. I don't believe it.
Which is great if you've got a nice young 22-year-old, fit as a fiddle, rapid defensive midfielder, but we don't.
It's the wrong personnel for the wrong system. It's not working by far. We could see this. And so, you know, Arsenal is a great team, but we will be up against better teams that will actually hurt us on transition in place like this. Liverpool, can you imagine Liverpool with this, with Mo Salah, you know, receiving the ball? We will get hurt. And the same with Manchester City.
Well, we're too rash. We are too rash.
We are too rash. And that's one of the biggest problems. And I just want to
showed it. That clip showed it fully. That was a mid-block attempt, should have been done there. You didn't need to press them because they outnumbered our attack. You only had 3 players up. They had 5 players to pass to. So you just don't press. And you reset. And someone should be communicating. Where is the spine of the team? Where is the communication?
I think the issue lies with, you know, Amorim wants to press in the Pentagon shape, as we talked about, centrally, and have the wingbacks ready to jump on the width. But last season, second half, we played with Casemiro a little bit deeper, just holding his position, and they were almost like a spare in the front, 3, 1, and 1.
But that's the same formation,
and now in this season, this season we are trying to do the Pentagon thing. We are trying to press with more attitude. I would say we will be trying to take more chances, but we still have the same legs. We still have Casemiro. We still have Bruno. Doesn't matter if you have Cunha and Mbumo. We still suffer because of this, and we even suffer when we played Menu and Ugarte. So we don't have the right profiles, and this leads us to the next segment because. Yeah, today I could read this one from Graeme Bailey came out and said TBR football coming in and say they can reveal that Man United watched Adam Wharton in action at the weekend as he starred in Crystal Palace opening day draw at Chelsea. And Wharton, he played really well. He had, for example, 100% dribbling success rate, really high passing rate. He played. He was one of the best players and. Looking at the stats, as a player, You see his standard stats, they are something, but I want to look at his shooting stats. Shots on target is in the 85 percentile. That's really good. Progressive passing distance is in the 88th percentile. It's 250 meters per 90. Or yards, I'm not quite sure. But this is where he excels. Passes completed, long passes. He have 4.68 per 90. It's in the 84th percentile. Also, when it comes to passes attempts, 7.22. Pass completion, 64.6. That's quite high, but not superb. But I think he can improve. So I think this is where he can excel. We talked about shifting of play or coming from the center back, playing out wide. I think he can give us something extra when it comes to this. It's also passes into the final third. He likes to be progressive, crosses into the penalty area. Now we have Sesko, so I think it will fit into this. Progressive passes, that's beautiful because we have Cunha. We know Cunha can receive. It's brilliant, and he can take the ball and run with it. It's also with his crosses, in swinging corner kicks. He can relieve Bruno when it comes to set pieces. And basically, I think he have a lot of good attributes. Defensively, I just want to have a look at it because people talk about him as a defensive midfielder, but it's almost like dribble challenged. He excels, but when it comes to the rest of it, he's not like a out and out defensive midfielder. So I don't know where I would play him. Maybe in the 8, but I would be reluctant to play him in the 6. That's just for me. I don't know, guys. If what do you think about this? And also, in the end, I just want to show you the heat map. Adam Wharton is on the left, and I put Morten Hjulmand on the right here. So you see operates on the right side of the midfield, but inside the box.
I'm sorry, that Hjulmand, that heat map is just pure beauty to me. So Wharton played as you think more of a holding / because they play 4, don't they? No, they play the same formation as us.
They do more of a 3-5-2. I would say.
He's playing the Casemiro role. So can we change that heat map for Hjulmand to Casemiro's heat map from yesterday?
Let's do that. Casemiro.
Because their passing stats of, if you went game by game, were very identical.
Oh, we just got to look at his seasonal heat map from last season.
So he may have just literally stayed in one position on the pitch, and Casemiro had to cover everything. So is he going to do what Casemiro was doing, and he needs to do twice as much as Casemiro? Because that's what we're saying, isn't it? We bring in that player, they need to do that on their own because they're going to be left exposed. Because Bruno's going to leave them on their own. So it's not too bad, is it? No. But is it a big upgrade when you've then had the Hjulmand one where all of that middle section was red?
But I feel a lot of the pundits, a lot of people, they rate Wharton higher than Hjulmand. I think it's because of the league. He's Premier League proven, and we know the Ineos sporting structure. They want Premier League proven players. So Darius, how do you see Wharton as a signing? Do you think he can improve us?
Well, I'm a little bit worried by what I saw on those stats there, where he had less minutes last season than Casemiro, and average 67 minutes a game.
He was out injured for a lot.
That's always a worry. I think it's very difficult to take one player out of one system, pop them in another, and see if they do well. Because at Crystal Palace, you've got Mateta, who drops in a sort of unconventional false 9, but a false 9 nonetheless. And then he would have had players like Eze and Elise, like the ones running in behind. And it looks from those stats that he's
and will use covering all the rest of the ground.
Yeah,
it's almost 2 defensive pivot guys in the 3-5-2. So
he's in quite a specialized thing. However, he won the Euros, didn't he, next to my favorite player, Elliot Anderson, for the England under-21s. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's someone that will dramatically raise Manchester United, because I'm very concerned still about the physical flaw of the team. And I think that this is another player who's more of a footballer than an athlete. So eventually I want to see Kobe Mainu partnered with someone. And I don't think Wharton is the right one for him. I think the price is very, very expensive. But I also have to confess, I'm not completely sure what the role is of a footballer in the number 6. I know what it is physically, but I don't know if they have to launch the ball as quickly as possible into spaces for people to chase. I don't know, like, if they're meant to find the wing back as opposed to the left centre back when they get the ball. And to bring Wharton in at this stage after the pre-season is done, I don't think it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. And also, it's a completely different player to Belabor, who we were looking at. Like, Belabor, he affects matches by carrying the football, and like Wharton does it by he progresses it through passes. So it doesn't seem joined up to me. But I do think he's a good player.
Well, Belabor was a replacement for Bruno's position, and Wharton would be a replacement for Casemiro's position.
So if we'd signed Belabor, you think that it would have been Belabor and Casemiro?
No, I think he would still play Bruno. But I'm telling you, Belabor is an aggressive number 8 box-to-box player, which is what role Bruno's doing. He's not a holding midfielder, nor has he ever been a holding midfielder. Same as Kobe Mainu will not play in midfield. He is a number 10. He is a fallen striker. He is a number 10, and he played his best role there. We've got to stop trying to put square pegs in round holes just because they've come through the academy. I don't think Mainu plays for Man United as a career. I think he's the next Nicky Butt. I think he goes somewhere else and has a great career, and I wish him all the best. But the manager is not picking him, and he'll be gone because it's simple cash. I don't agree with it, but you've got to look at our history. He won't be the first one out of our academy that we've all loved that has had this happen to him, and he won't be the last.
I think you're right. Stu, what's your take when it comes to Adam Wharton?
I'm a bit torn with Wharton, really, because if you want a specialist 6, then he's got to hold the middle. And Wharton holds the right, doesn't hold the middle. You've got to hold the centre of the park. That's where you are with a 6. And a 6 has to operate in multiple ways of playing the game. He's going to be able to play with his back to goal and facing goal. He's going to be able to turn with it. He's going to be able to pass it 2 yards. He's going to be able to pass it 50 yards. He's got to be an all-rounder. Your 6 is your quarterback, if one for the better phrase in American football. That's what he does. But he operates in and around the spine of the team. And you shouldn't really move away from that unless you get dragged out. And if you're dragged out, there's a reason for it. And that is because the rest of your midfield or your runners aren't coming back in to help. You are there as the orchestra. The baton is with you. Your relationship with your centre half is critical. Your relationship with your goalkeeper is critical. Those are the 3 that are continuously talking. And if you get the right person in that area, you become a hugely difficult team to beat, because you've already got somebody that can step aside 5 yards, step to the right 5 yards, step forward 5 yards, step back 5 yards. That's it. That's your radius. If you need to move forward and go into the attacking third, make sure you're still centrally positioned. And as soon as you see the play break down, you're on the halfway line immediately. That is your first thought. That is where you position yourself. And then you start to go back 10 yards at a time as the ball comes in, and you're there ready to break up the play. That's where you should be, and that's what a 6 should do. That's how Rodri does it. That's how all the very best 6s do it. Okay.
That's how I teach it as well. You're telling those fullbacks. So Stu is right. If you've got 2-man pivot and you've got a player that is allowed to go forward, we think of them being like that. They're never like that. They are like this. It is like you just said. One comes into the middle, and whatever side the 8 goes, you now need to do everything you said, Stu. But you need to be communicated in this formation with the wing back.
Exactly.
Because you're attacking down the right. Your right wing back is going. Your right 10 is there. the player is either free, will be the wing back on the opposite side of the pitch. You know, he will be there for that crossfield ball, but he needs to know you drop in as a holding midfielder if he can't get back, if they push too far forward. Yeah. And that is why we play 3-5-2. 3-5-2-1. But when we defend, it needs to be 5-4-1. And they just come back in straight lines. If you've decided to push forward, you come back on my right, I'm going to move to the left. He's going to come in here. And it is that discipline and communication, as I just said, communication, but we are lacking. Discipline.
That's why Wharton won't fit. Ultimately, that's why Wharton won't fit. He won't fit into our idea.
Too young.
He won't know it. And when I look around and see who there is that will fit into it, there's very few players out there that you can slot into the perfect six. And actually, when I talk about it being a specialist position, it's actually a position of common sense and brain. That's all it is. You don't have to be hugely athletic. You don't have to be a brilliant ball player. You really don't. You've just got to be able to sense danger and make sure positionally you're sound. Because, I played a deep line six for many years. And the transition from me to a six to centre half was very straightforward because I play a six position just at the back. I know what's going on. I can see it unfold. And that's what your quintessential six should do at any given moment. It should be vocal. It should be strong in the challenge. It should be good in the air. I wasn't great in the air, by the way, but he should be good in the air. But he gets it and he gives it. And that's what a six does. You watch Rodri, he gets it and he gives it. Modric gets it and he gives it. Give it to the crooner. Casemiro, when he was brilliant at Real Madrid, he used to get it and give it to the crooner.
Well, let's go back. It's called the Makelele for a reason, and that was a real compliment, right?
Yeah.
They go for strikers. The number 9 is the hardest position to find. The goalkeeper's the hardest. I'm telling you, the Makelele role is the hardest football in football to create. You cannot teach half the stuff they need to know. It is a natural ability to have everything Stu has just said. And
if you've got the brains, Mark, you can adapt. Now, I look at Mainu, he's perfect for that. He really is. I know people want him as a 10. They love him as a 10, but he's actually got the brains, the stamina and the discipline to do it. He just won't do it. And he
doesn't have the pace to cover the ground.
I don't think he needs it. I was never very quick, Mark. I just used my positional brain. I always made sure I was in and around 5 to 10 yards where I needed to be, so I could cover the ground that I needed to be.
That's why we can't play him. This is the point I'm trying to make. I love Kobe Mainu. I think he's a great kid, and he seems to be very close to Casemiro. So that idea of him playing the 6 and learning from Casemiro, I love. But if we do not stop him being exposed, he will never be able to learn it because he's going to look shit and he's going to be taken out.
But he's got real opportunity to cement himself. Not enough footballers do this, and it grinds my gears more than anything. And Tuanzebe, by the way, was a great example. When he was at United, there was too many decent centre-halves in place of him. He'd have made a brilliant right back if he'd used his brain. Just switch position to right back. Mainu can do this. He's not going to get in as a 10. It's not going to happen. He ain't going to get in as an 8. So where are you going to get in? When can you affect Manchester United? Where can I go to Amarin and say, oh, Kobe Mainu, first name on the sheet? That would be what I would be doing. But they don't do it these days.
It's rare though, Stu. Like when you look at the best sixes, and like Mark is completely correct that it is like everyone in the world wants to play a single pivot, but there's like a handful at best who can do it. But all these players that have played at number 6, the majority of them have started out further up the pitch and have come back. Like Pirlo wasn't a 6 till he was 30 odd, or something like that. And the other thing is that the best number 6s are so good they play as a number 10 for any other side. You've seen the way that like Rodri can score in European Cup finals and so on, and like with Declan Rice is an immense player in my opinion, and you can see what he does let off the leash. But it's with me, like when I was first learning how to play as a number 6 at the right old age of 24, I was given a metaphor by my coach, which is that you have to be a lighthouse. Like everyone has to get their signals off you from the rest of the team. So, you know, like I'm not really sure about wing back positions, but for example, with the fullback, I'm not tolerating a fullback getting ahead of me when we're building up, because it's too hard a pass to pop it out to him and so on. And I wonder if Kobe has the personality to do that, because what he's best at is affecting games in the final third at the moment, like scoring goals like he did against Wolves and Lyon, like threading the pass through. Do you remember when he took on Van Dijk and someone else in the Liverpool game? I think we've got to find a place for him. Or Mark, I have to say I'm 100% in agreement with Mark here. I think that we're wasting Kobe and that he will have to leave, because that boy hasn't played Champions League football, but he's played in a European Cup final for his country. And I can't see how that can continue.
Yeah, I just right now I don't think Wharton's the right answer for us.
Who would be?
Me, I agree. I think there's only one name, and he is linked as well. We spoke about it before. If you check the news, Hjulmand is still being linked for 50 million.
Yes.
For me, that's makes more sense in this time. As Bath Time said, it's a bit late in the window to bring in this. This is a pivotal part of the system. Yeah, the holding midfielder. He knows the role, but he doesn't know how to control Bruno.
Yeah, what I'll be doing is getting his Sunday out the way, and then Monday morning, Sunday night, I'll be knocking on the door for Berge at Fulham. That's what I'd be doing. I'd get this game out the way, and then I'd push everything to get him. And I think we could get him out of Fulham, because I think he'd be perfect for us. Great.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the fact that this is Believer is thinking we're all going to buy we're all Believer that we're going to buy a midfielder. The rumour was that's coming out of next year's transfer budget, and he was number one priority because we know we can't get him next year. We all need this midfielder, but can we afford to take the money out? Because once we've spent it, it's gone.
Well, you're not going to be. Stamford Bridge was bought for 28 mil or something like that, wasn't he? For Fulham, something like that.
They're still to Man United. They want 70.
We'll probably get you probably get him for 60, 70. You've got to pay 80, 90, 100 for Wharton anyway. So you've got no choice. Stamford Bridge would be brilliant for us. I wouldn't suggest that Believer's off the table anyway. I said to Jarvis last night, you use the media in a variety of different ways.
Yeah, I agree.
The best way to kill a story, by the way, is for Fabrizio Romano to tell everybody the deal's off. It's the best way to kill a story.
Guy who's lost all credibility as well.
No, nobody talks about Believer now. Nobody's interested in him. There was way too much noise around that transfer. Way too much noise.
Someone put it up earlier. 55 million plus 5 coming out from Laurie Whitwell. That's absolute bullshit, because I know enough people around him, but there was no price put in.
Laurie Whitwell's not all over this. But Stamford Bridge, you play Fulham, you get the Fulham game out of the way, you go and buy that kid, because that kid we should have bought for 4 or 5 million quid 4 years ago. And just bearing in mind the impact that Polini had for Tottenham at the weekend. Just bearing in mind they brought in one good player, and he had it was one game, I know, but he had a big impact on the way that Tottenham play.
Yeah, I agree.
I just got to add, when it comes to Stamford Bridge, when he played for Sheffield United under Chris Wheeler played the 3-5-2 formation. Chris Wilder, he didn't play him in the single pivot in the 3. He played him on the side. He didn't trust him. But
correct.
But I think he made a mistake.
He did.
I think he made a mistake.
Look at him now. He had a brilliant season last season. And it'll be a problem again. Fulham got away with a 1-1 draw at Brighton. They went to Brighton, they got a 1-1 draw. We can beat Fulham. I don't think they got enough firepower to do it. And I definitely 100% think Berge would be brilliant. If you get Believer in and you get Berge in, water. But then
do you think he works those two? Do you think he works in terms of that? Like, I see Fulham every now and again, and Berge drops in to make a back 3 a lot of the time.
He does.
With our back, we've already kind of got a back three there, with like Yoro and Delict and whoever. Like, I'm not sure that we get the best out of him, like in the formation that we've got, but just simply because he can't do that sort of that Latin build-up.
No, that's exactly what he will do. That is exactly what he will do. He will be on the halfway line. Either the right or left centre-back will push into the play, which they like to push on, and he will drop in and the centre-backs will widen and he will be there as they drop, as the fifth man, like I say, come back straight lines.
I like that.
I was about to hand that over to Jarvis because Jarvis, not because of Sander Berge, but you made a point the other day about that we've gone from a 3 to a 4 occasionally with the wing back tucking in, and I wanted to make that point that Berge would be able to negate that now. We could keep the wing backs where we wanted to because Berge would go in. But I want you to talk about that, Jarvis. Sorry.
No. I think you know Berge as good as I do now because everybody is aware of him as a player. But last season when we tried to sign him, or there were some rumors that we were in for him, I think a lot of people draw the parallels. We already sold McTominay. We don't want another McTominay in the team.
Yeah, they're not interested.
We don't trust him. So again, I felt that a lot of people didn't understand the player he is, but I fully understand what type of player he is, and I think he will suit this system perfectly. And what I think we need is someone who can. What I don't like with Wharton is his long passing is brilliant, but again, is this what we need? I think we just need someone to keep the ball ticking. To drop down, be secure on the ball, don't lose it, give it to the next guy, and keep it going. Because we play a system where we are reliant on people moving into position, so we gotta take it in the right tempo. We gotta keep the right rhythm. And when we start having a deep lying playmaker who want to hit it long all the time, I don't think we will never get that rhythm. We will always be a team playing on the transition, and I don't think it suits us. We got to find the right players. This is why I love the link with Hjulmand right now, because he's that type of player. I don't know if you are aware, if you have looked at his passing stats, but I will bring it up for you guys just to remind you. So here we go. This is Hjulmand. And passes complete 92, attempts 89, pass completion 97 percentile in the top 5. Passes short.
I've got him up there with as believer. Like, it's a must-have.
Yeah, but he's not a ball carrier per se. He's more of a guy who
make him and believer would be an unbelievable strong midfield.
That's the thing.
That's
the thing. Yeah. So
as long as they work, Sebastian Veron was one of the best players in the world when we bought him, but it didn't work. But as long as it works on paper, you're looking at Rodri and like Silva, that kind of partnership. One wins it, one gives it, and he carries it forward for City, or a Keane and the Skulls. Dare I say it? It's a must-have, and I looked into him a lot since you opened my eyes to him, and I've watched him play. I've gone back and actually watched like 45 minutes here, 45 minutes of like sporting playing, and everything, Stu, how he moves into the centre, and you can see that he just coming across, shutting everything down into the other half, doesn't push on too far in front of the back three as they came up, so he almost had 3 and a 1. He didn't need to drop in because different league, they keep the ball. And the passes, just keep it ticking. 1 and 2 touch. We slow the ball down. As soon as we get on the attack, someone's putting their foot on it. And it's the same 2 players. Yeah. They play it fast, or they don't know what the hell to do with it.
Yeah, it's not good enough the way that we play at the minute. We've got to drastically change it for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree, Jarvis. That like the problem I have with this team is the lack of gears. Like we need a player who can like just be comfortable, couple of simple passes, and allow the team to move up the pitch. Because if we're going for this transition heavy stuff, like we're asking huge amounts from our wing backs to get up and support the play. We're asking a lot for like Mbeumo to sort of have to control the ball under pressure, beat a couple of men, then pick the right pass. Against Arsenal, there are a couple of times where we saw some amazing carries from our players in Cunha and in Mbeumo, but they just didn't have the power at the end to finish to strike the ball cleanly, because of the distances that they're being asked to cover. And having a very sensible metronome in the midfield that allows us to get up would be great.
Rodri 2.0. I'm so glad you said this, Danny B, because I just love looking at it. Yeah. Like, you're not talking about the best in the world and someone most people had never heard of, including myself. And then you go, is it his little brother? You know, it's that good.
What does Berge look like against Rodri?
Yeah,
very narrow. I would have thought Berge very, very narrow and not as high up the pitch.
So
he doesn't play up as high. Yeah,
no. But all those points we keep making, it's like, if you're transitional, you need 11 fast players. You need defence still to get up, and we had it, didn't we? We had Rashford and Rasmus 2 years ago. They were going some, and people couldn't keep up with them. So it's like the ball comes across, no one's at the back post. Yeah, well, what do you expect? They couldn't keep up.
By the way, that's not Rodri's heat map at the minute, because he hasn't played for like 6 months.
No, it's his last.
Whereas Berge's is quite a current heat map, and that's quite interesting. It tallies up quite nice, actually. Yeah, it's not as concentrated, but it tallies up well.
If Berge has played for City, you would have been different, you know. So you got to keep that in mind. Yeah.
And that Berge one would mean, for if you look where his heat was, he's got that's where Bruno is. That's Bruno's heat map.
Yeah,
and Bruno's heat map is appalling. Why you've got that there, Jarvis, you could probably just bring up Bruno's heat map for the 25-26 season, and you'll see when your holding midfielder is got hot spots all over the pitch and nothing in the middle of the pitch. It's not like people think we're going in on him, but we're saying for the midfield is that important. We need to buy Wharton. We need to buy Hjulmand, Belieber. We're talking about Bruno's current position. We need to buy someone for.
Yeah, it's like an actor that's been miscast. He's in the wrong role.
Well, Stu is a defender. I'm not putting Stu up front just because I need a striker. I am not going to go and play holding midfield as a striker. You know, I'm not putting my goalkeeper up front. You have a position, you play that position, and if you can't play that position, sorry, you're on the bench.
Why do you think Amarin is doing it then?
Because it's his best friend. I'm being serious. Look at that.
So this is Bruno on the left.
Now tell me he wasn't in the way for Dorgu, Cunha, and Mount.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Very depressing.
I feel
very depressing.
I'm glad you mentioned it, Mark.
There's nothing there in the middle for protection at all.
Yeah. So now we have the choice. Let's say Wharton. We have a lot of midfielders we are linked to. The Middlesbrough guy. What's his name again? Hackney. By the way, Liverpool. No, Middlesbrough. They signed Nypan on loan.
From City, didn't they?
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's a weird. I wasn't expecting him to go.
That's superb for Middlesbrough. That is great for Middlesbrough.
So, do you think there is a chance maybe we should go for someone like Hackney? Because I think I'm almost certain that we will bring in a central midfielder because we loaned out Collier. So we only have 4 guys, and that's including Bruno, who's actually a number 10. So we have Ugarte, who's been terrible. We have Casemiro, who is on the decline. And we have Kobe Mainu, who don't get a sniff in this team. Because, I don't know, Amarim don't rate him. He doesn't like don't think he suits the style.
It's worth noting.
What do we do? Do we play Xerxes as 8, as you have mentioned a lot of times, Stu? Or?
Yeah, it's worth mentioning with Hackney, though, that nobody's in for him, by the way. There's no big club in for him. He went to where Ipswich struck a deal with Middlesbrough.
How long's left in his contract?
I don't think it's like long, but I think he's got a couple of years. But Ipswich and Middlesbrough nearly did a deal on 15 million quid for him. So he's only worth about 20 mil anyway. So if you're going to get him in, he's not going to be a 20, 25, straight 26 player. He's more likely going to be 26, 27. It's probably not worth the money right now for us. We need to buy somebody who can come into the team and make a difference. And that's what we need to do. The interesting thing is there are people that won't want Hayden Hackney. There are people that won't want Wharton. They won't want Berge. They won't want Hjulmand. They won't want Edison. It's just one of those, you can't please everybody. And that's the beauty of football. That's what I love about football. You just can't please everybody. So, I said to you before about Palhinha 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
that's the play we should have
bought.
Bought.
We could have signed Palhinha.
We could have had him. Yeah, we could have had him for 30 million this year. I know his legs are gone. You're right, Tyrone. You can't win. I know his legs aren't what they were 2 or 3 years ago, but he would have made a difference to us. And that's what football's about, a player that comes in and makes a difference. And whether you rate him by his name or not, it doesn't matter. It's what he can do, in the
squad.
In the squad or in your team.
Yeah.
So
I will come with an unpopular opinion. I would actually, if it was me, I would have gone for someone like Sean Longstaff this summer, because I think he's a midfielder that actually could have worked in this system.
Yeah,
but
again,
it's not the popular signing.
You get vilified for that. You get vilified for it, but you need somebody to fit to fit into this team right now. Somebody you can put in, and he can get up and he can get on with it.
I think we talk about the midfield a lot, and I think one of the things leaving the central midfield wide open, we've been talking. I've seen Dorgu's name come up a lot, and he's been superb, and he on the left. But that right wing back position, we need an actual right wing back, and him getting up, tucking in, and doing that role both ways, and knowing that role as well is leaving us a little bit exposed. When Mazraoui plays there, it's a bit like the old debate about Wan-Bissaka versus Dalot. Dalot going forward, Wan-Bissaka going backwards towards defence.
I think we'll be right when Mazraoui comes back. I think I think it's an area we do need to look at, but we can't focus on. You have to focus on the middle of the park.
But that is the middle of the park, Stu. That's what I'm trying to say. So when the ball is on the left with Dorgu, that right wing back's got to tuck into midfield. He's got to narrow.
He's not what we need. Yeah, but he's not what we need. We need that 6. We need that one player.
That's where the exposure is coming from. If the wing back doesn't tuck in, he leaves him exposed. You know what you were just saying about a 6?
But a good 6 can kind of handle that. Like a Rodri, he'll handle that to an extent.
I'm just saying that's something I feel we need to do.
We do need.
Doing at the moment is all going, and it's
I don't think we can focus on that at the minute, because I think he'll end up playing Ahmad, by the way, as a right wing back. If it isn't Mazzari, it'll be Ahmad.
It's been a great footballing debate to end up some positives, some Bruno, some Meeks, big up Meeks coming in, say, guys, please don't underestimate Bruno's ability to be Amorim's mouth on the pitch. Yes, he had a bad game, but he's the only one telling the team where to go and what to do. Amorim,
but he's not doing his job while doing that. He can't do that while running around. He stands there pointing. It's been pulled up on TV. They flagged him doing it. He's standing there pointing and throwing his arms around, but he's not chasing his own player. What's the first rule? You tell people once you're back, why the fuck didn't you have your man? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? You should be here. Tuck in. Switch the ball.
But we are all players, and we know how important there is to have players around that actually flaps their mouth all the time, tells you what to do.
You need
and commands you know.
And I don't think they respect him talking to them because of the way he acts. I don't think he has that respect. What you hear on TV in interviews is one thing, right? Because that's television media. Stu, you can tell us all about that for hours, about how they're press trained, and that they're not going to throw people under the bus unless they've had a falling out. But I remember Mane and Salah actually going at it. Do you remember when they got pulled off the pitch? And it's like, I would have put a mic in front of one of them right now because we will hear the truth. You know, Bruno's that would drive most players insane from early age. They're so I don't know what's the best way to do it. Soft. Let's not go with soft. They don't like criticism. So if you're telling me I'm not doing my job right, I need to have the utmost respect for that person. And he has to be making no mistakes.
It's hard to see Casemiro. Sorry, it's hard to see Casemiro taking him seriously, isn't it?
Yeah.
Football's been soft for years, though. I mean, players are just babies. I mean, they really are babies today.
The list, captain at 19 at Ajax, Casemiro, Brazil, and Real Madrid captain, and I believe at Benfica, whichever Portuguese club he was at. He was captain there. We've got captains within that squad, and Burmo's worn the armband for Brentford, which is great. That's what we're building towards. But then they're not in the leadership group.
But you don't need an armband, though, to be a leader. I mean,
no, but you do have a leadership group, which is your respectful group, which is your go-between between the managers and that. And if these players don't, it's divide.
I'm skipper now. Last year and the year before, I've never taken any notice of my skipper. Never, not once. Don't care what he's got to say. I'm concentrating on my area of the pitch, keeping my side of the pitch sorted. That's my concentration. That's my area. I pay no attention to the skipper. Never have done. Nobody pays any attention to me.
No, but my point was more, he's telling them he's the mouthpiece on the pitch. He shouldn't be doing any coaching. That's exactly what you just said. You're not going to pay any attention.
Yeah, and this is what I've said. This is what I'm getting at. A bunch of professional footballers, elite footballers, should not need to be told what to do on the pitch. They should already understand. Look, these players, they don't watch the game unfold. You know, when you're out of possession, the biggest thing a footballer does is read the game. He watches the game. He's looking. I'm looking at two things when we're out of possession. I'm looking at, or when we're in possession at the top, I'm looking at where can they spring from and how quickly they're going to get to me. And where do I need to be to cover that? That's what I'm thinking. That's what's going through my brain.
But not as they break you, what are you shouting? Get back.
What I'm shouting at is I'm looking at my six and I'm wondering where he is, and I'm looking at my six to communicate to me exactly how far he wants me behind him. So I want him roughly about 10 or 15 yards away from me. That's all. That's all I want from him.
You're communicating to get back into your
all the time, and we stay central as a centre half and a central midfielder. We stay central because it's like if anyone ever plays squash. If you ever deviate from the tee line, so you slash the ball, you get back to the tee line because that gives you the best opportunity to get across the court. If you're to the left-hand side, he's going to slam you down the right, and there's no way you're going to get across. So you get back to that tee line, you muscle him off, get your shot, and that's what your centre half and your central midfielder should be doing.
So I've got a question for everyone, plus the chat here. Like, we're not digging Bruno out. We're just pointing out for when you throw your arms around as any player, it doesn't have to be Bruno. You're not going to listen to what that player's got to say. But my question to everyone is, Harry Maguire had the armband taken off of him and has come back as an absolute tank, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we get Bruno back to the Bruno that will not be running around like a headless chicken and was superb if we take the armband off of him?
Nope.
Darius?
I don't think so. I think that Bruno is sort of like helplessly in love with Manchester United and he wants the best for the team and everything like that. But he just doesn't have the temperament to be a captain because I'm always stunned how good he is at penalties when the majority of the time he's completely out of control emotionally and yet cool as a cucumber with the penalty. I think that he's just so in that everyone's business that it is who he sort of sees himself as, the Manchester United captain, and taking that. It's like Gollum with the ring in Lord of the Rings. If you take it away from him, I think it eats him up and destroys him. Whereas like Harry Maguire, I think is an interesting character because he's obviously very introverted, and he doesn't strike me as someone that you'd see as the traditional Premier League captain, like a Tony Adams or a Roy Keane or a Vieira or whatever. But as Stuart says, all of that has gone out of the game, the inspirational leaders and things like that. And I think that what United would need from a captain now is someone to get the younger players through the game and to keep emotions calm. And I don't think that that's what Bruno is, because I'm sure that we've all captained football teams, and I captained my university football team on the basis that I was the most organised off the pitch. It was nothing to do what I did on the pitch. It was that I was good at getting people on time and so on. And I agree with Stu that very rarely do you look at your captain, listen to what he's saying, think about it, and get on with it. It's the same with the manager, to be honest, during the game. Like after the game, it's a different story. But on the pitch, I think that we need more calming heads than Bruno. And if you take the armband off him, it destroys him. But that's the end of his career at Manchester United for him, because it's so much of his identity now.
So what you're saying is the way to get Bruno out of the club would be to take the armband off him.
I think Bruno's been sold already, to be honest.
I think it's his last year.
I think there's a lot of United fans thinking that now with the Saudi come back in and he goes sort of thing.
Incidentally, chaps, in Italy, it used to be age. The captain used to be the oldest player.
It is in Latin America.
It's quite common.
All it was. Yeah, it's weird. But anyway.
And that's why I say it's a respect thing. So if he did speak, you would fucking listen to him.
Yep.
And if you didn't, the manager would hook you. Because he is the mouthpiece for the manager, but he has to be identical to the manager.
Yeah. I've never listened to my skipper, ever. And nobody listens to me now, and I don't want them to. But you concentrate in your own area, concentrate on
you've all made really good points to why I asked the question. Calming influence. Roy Keane, you remember when you used to bollock people, why'd you play that 40-yard pass? Just give it to me. I'll bounce it 5 yards. We control the game. We keep the ball. We move it around. Every captain I've ever played for has been like that. We don't need to do something special. We've got the ball. They've got to come get it off us. So unless we are transitional, edge of our box to the edge of their box, any other time when you have the ball, it is time to be calm. Let's be Winston Churchill on the ball. Keep calm and carry on. Right?
Absolutely.
But it is so true. Do Man City panic when they get the ball? No, they know every player is going to be in their position. They're well drilled. They're going to be there. Next 3-4 games, we judge Man United on this discipline. Because I'm hoping this goes back and goes, that only happened, Mason, because you were wrong side of your player. That could have happened there, Bruno. Where the hell were you in the box when we were trying to put the ball in? We can flag all these things up. That's what the good thing to losing, but losing well, you can go, it's just a tweak, lads. It's not, you didn't really do that.
You are talking about player intelligence, and we've demonstrated as a club we lack intelligence.
Oh, we're buying intelligence
during the game. Well, we should be buying intelligence now. I think we bought intelligence in Cunha. I think we bought intelligence in Mbumo for definite. Who we bring in as a midfielder will determine our intelligence levels. De Ligt's a very intelligent centre half on his day. We don't have an intelligent goalkeeper. We clearly know
De Ligt was superb. I haven't even seen Gyökeres. I think he's still missing.
He still is, yeah. I think he's having a lie down. But
playing back to Portugal and going, fuck this.
People look at Liverpool. Liverpool were really shabby, sloppy in their first game. Wirtz was terrible. Ekitiko was dying at half time. I mean,
he was superb for that 45 minutes.
He was good for that 45 minutes, but you've got to do it for 90 minutes in the Premier League, haven't you? So we've got to find somebody who comes in as a
hot take, while we've been talking about midfielders, Subamendi will flop in the Arsenal team.
He was rubbish against us, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
He was rubbish against us in the second leg, and he was rubbish against us again now. The Premier League is too fast for him.
Yeah, it's a bit. He's going to get found out in the Premier League, but it'll be interesting to see what we do where we go.
Like Rodri didn't play for like the first 6 or 7 months in the Premier League, and like I remember Rasmus's debut, he looked absolutely fantastic against Arsenal, wrestling with people. Anthony scored in his first 3 games. It's how these players like adapt to the league, because Gyökeres against De Ligt, like Gyökeres will basically have been learning the laws of English football against De Ligt, and in wide areas he did smash up De Ligt a little bit. It was just in central areas that he kind of got done. I wouldn't go making predictions straight away about these players as much. It would be hilarious if they were all rubbish.
No, I think the reason Liverpool didn't go for Supermendy, they've looked into it and they pulled out the deal. But you've got to remember, other teams looked at him last season and didn't trigger that release clause.
It's difficult to get a player out of Real Sociedad, though.
What, with a £50 million release clause? It wasn't.
Yeah, it's difficult because they're the Basque national team and so on. It's a sort of very northern Spanish thing.
Very difficult Basque players, yeah.
It's really hard to get them. Look at Enrique Williams not going to Barcelona, thankfully, so they get Rashford.
Yeah, that was the only good thing. But no, I'm just saying I think he flops. I don't think he works in the Premier League.
No, I don't think he does.
No, I don't think he does. Guys, Roshmana comes in and say, I go to most games and all I see is Bruno trying to organize the team during key moments. I'm not a match-going fan, so I don't see what's outside the camera. So you might be right, Roshmana. You might be right.
Roshmana, interesting. A bit more clarity on that. When you say organising a team in key moments, what, instead of doing his job or being in the right position, or is he just shouting at players, you should be there, you should be there?
I trust Roshmana.
And
when you say organising, I believe it's organizing, talking to players, making them be in the right position. But I think it was quite interesting, breaking down some footage. And I want to do this before we do a quick Q&A, because you all see the latest transfer news. The latest transfer news was Hjulmand to Napoli, Lukaku injured, and Sancho said no to Roma. So we're not going to talk about that. But this chance happens, and it's not just Bruno, it's Dorgu, and it's a lot of things happening. It's Luke Shaw in this instance. You see here, I think it's White who has the ball on the side, and you see here the half space. We have Ødegaard perfectly placed in between all four. So what happens here? He just dinks the ball over to Ødegaard, because I think it's Dorgu
rushes him.
Dorgu rushes it. He tries to chop it down, and the same with Bruno. No, it's Mason Mount.
I would say Mason Mount's the one who shouldn't be going there, because that is Dorgu's man on the ball.
Yeah, but just look at it. And now when he receives the ball, he's perfectly in the half space in between all four. And who's going to go? Who's the guy who's supposed to press Ødegaard here?
You don't. You hold the line, and allow him to run towards you so the player can't run off you. You have to hold the line here.
So I
would be angry.
Have Casemiro move a little bit down.
Because he's got a player on his right shoulder coming back in. That's Supermendy on his right.
Here. Yeah.
But again, we've seen this about on two of the clips tonight. Look at De Ligt's hand. Looks like he's... Now, I could be wrong, and as you roll that through, that could just be him bringing his arm from behind him to run. But it looks like he's offloading Rice to Casemiro while he drops back in.
Mm-hmm.
Casemiro is now caught between two players here, no man's land. And that's not on him. So it looks like he's passed him off. He's checked his shoulder again.
Mm. But you see here, Ødegaard, he cuts inside. Bruno follows his man. I think it's Saka. And you have Shaw.
You've got to chase him up. Shaw has to pull out. As a defensive option, Shaw's got to pull out. And the reason Shaw pulls out is because Bruno is okay where he is. If Bruno stays put, Shaw moves towards Ødegaard. We're nicely positioned. De Ligt can turn around. He's got Rice covered, no problem. Supermendy's not moving into play as of yet. And Casemiro's in an okay position. He can also move towards Ødegaard. What happens is...
That's the defensive line, though, Stu.
No, but that's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect, because Bruno, if you look where Bruno is, he's covering Dorgu. So you just stay there. You don't attack You don't attack.
Delayed, so Dorgu gets back in.
Yeah. You don't do it. So you allow Shaw to move across, come across, and move into the area that Ødegaard's going to attack. And that's what you do. That's all you do.
And there's your straight lines I mentioned earlier. Casemiro come in next to De Ligt as a straight line.
Because if Bruno comes out and he rushes Ødegaard, Saka's free immediately. Saka's free. So you stay with your man. You stay put, even if you're out of position, which Bruno is, until Dorgu gets back in. So that's why you allow Shaw to go out to him.
I know what's going to happen in this clip, so
yeah, so do I. Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Darius, what's your thoughts so far?
Hello. Is he there or is he gone?
No, he's gone. Or his mic is muted. Well, let's just play through.
He's not muted, then I think no.
Oh look, it's a classic Bruno lunge.
Exactly. Yeah. Stop it there for a minute, Jarvis. There you go.
It's not even a proper tackle shoot. Look at that tackle.
No,
that's a lunging leg.
Yeah, but because Shaw allowed Bruno out, he's left Saka free. So Bruno stays where he is on Saka. Shaw moves across into the vicinity of Ødegaard. We're much better defended because Zubimendi doesn't come into play. He should have done.
Casemiro now has to jump towards the ball, and Shaw's got to go towards Saka.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have to be. But it shouldn't be that way.
No,
you're talking again. You're talking elite Premier League footballers here, and Bruno goes and tackle and tries to make an attempt on Ødegaard. It's just laughable. From a defensive point of view, it's laughable. It really is. I couldn't believe
that's a perfect line right now. If he delays,
we're good.
Dorgu gets back in. He chases the ball. Who's driving towards Casemiro?
Yeah, we're good.
You know, De Ligt we've seen is aware of Rice. He's checked his shoulder again there.
Yeah,
and it was a poor decision for it doesn't play Saka in.
It was a poor decision by Ødegaard. Yeah, we got back in okay. Dorgu got back in okay. Now go back to the very beginning.
Do you think Ødegaard should have played Saka here, or?
100%. Oh God, no! Earlier. Go back. Yeah, go back further.
Yeah. So Ødegaard makes literally his touch was superb. The way he touches that out the air mid thing, doesn't break stride. That's the ball. That's
where you play him, and Saka lets it roll across his body, so he's got extra space, and he whips the ball across. But if you go actually right from the very beginning, Dorgu shouldn't have been that far up. He should have allowed Mason Mount to get it, pushed in, switched with Bruno, and it would have been a different way of setting up. Again, it's
even by doing what they did do, Stu, which is a tactical thing where you go 2v1 for the press, out wide, because if it works, they give away a throw and they go no further. It was a good ball between the two. Am I still in the right position?
Yeah, but don't forget.
Yes, we can hear you now, Darius. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
What he did was flick it. As Dorgu and Mount went in, Ben White comes. Okay, bang, flick. It's so easy from a footballing point of view. You can see what's happening in front of you. As soon as they converge on you like that, you just flick it. That's all he did. He flicked it into Ødegaard. Ødegaard runs. That's why you allow Mount to take it singular there, and you drop Dorgu back, and at least gives Ben White something to consider. It's too easy. It's just too easy.
Someone, I didn't catch the name, but someone just said we can afford the lunge tackle there. First off, you don't lunge tackle in football in the Premier League because they drift past you. You're out the game. If you're on the floor, you're out the game. Right. Second, if he plays the overlapping pass, Shaw would then have to go out. Casemiro is not going to catch Ødegaard, and it's a 1-2. He could even get in on De Ligt, and if De Ligt has to go across to him, Rice becomes free. It's a well-worked pass in the play here. It's a little chip in, similar to how we play out, Jarvis. You showed it with that little diamond formation where we go to right centre back, right wing back, central midfield. We bounce it around. They're doing the same in the attack here. But
they're making that space lovely for Calafiore as well. He just gets on the wrong side of Mbueno. Do you see him there, just moving in?
Yeah, but at least he reacts. He sees it and he reacts. He doesn't walk. You can see he's about to burst into a sprint to catch him back up, and we know he can do it.
Ødegaard shoots anyway, doesn't he, on this?
Yeah. But I think the thing that is most telling about this clip is if you take it from to the start, I think that you can get your biggest sort of reference about why, about what should be happening here. Is you can see Mount is trying to protect the ball inside. Like, we're trying to get them to play down the line. So Mount is there to stop the ball in. Obviously, Ødegaard has got behind and between, which is very, very annoying. And here, like, you've got the choice really of what Bruno does, which is, does he step up to Ødegaard or does he sort of follow the channel runner with Saka? And when you play it and the ball gets through,
I think there's a conversation going on at the start of this as well with the United players.
Well, I think what you have to look at here, Mark, is where is the space that you're willing to give up in this situation? Because someone's in the half space. Yes, the width. So who goes out?
No one.
Luke Shaw.
I think Bruno.
Look when he's got the ball. Casemiro, if Casemiro starts to come across and Bruno's got his man, he's turning into a crowded area. So you would think that because Saka's marked, he would either pull wide, you dribble towards Bruno, and you get a 2v1 versus Bruno in the wide space to affect the play. That's what I would expect. But Arsenal do the unexpected, don't they?
But don't forget, Dorgu gets back in then anyway.
If it's the wrong side of him, you step across it, you've got free kick.
If Ødegaard starts dribbling towards Saka, Dorgu's in there. If Bruno stays put, Shaw comes over.
But as soon as so slowly roll that now, he's just about to land. His both feet are off the floor mid stride, right? As he lands outside of the foot pass, because you can see Bruno's going to jump, and Saka's it. Clear as day.
I think Bruno should go out there. Like, I think the problem is
going out. I'll tell you what. Lunging is a different thing.
On that one, you stay with your man. Even if you're an unorthodox, should I say, fullback, you stay with your man. Because what's going to happen there is, Darius, if Bruno stays with Saka, Ødegaard's got two choices. He's either going to run directly into Casemiro or he's going to run into Luke Shaw. That's where he's going to go. Dorgu's going to come in either behind him or he's going to double up on Saka with Bruno. That's how I would work that defense, and you're absolutely sound in that point of view. As soon as Bruno releases himself from Saka, there's the problem, because he doesn't do it. But if when Jarvis plays the ball on Darius and Bruno goes for the tackle, he should have instantly played in Saka, and that's the key element.
We see. That's why I think that Bruno should go, because I think Saka in that space is less dangerous than where Ødegaard is. As you see the play developing, and ideally what we want to happen here is for the ball to be delayed, to go out wide or go behind. I don't think we can delay that. I don't think we can delay the ball here. So the next best thing in the flowchart is to force it wide. For me,
yeah, but that lunge is not anything.
Yeah, no, right. I'm not saying that's what Bruno should do by any stretch of the imagination. He's got to stand his man up there, and when he stands his man up,
the problem he got there, fella, is if Ødegaard gets it right, Saka lets it run across his body. He doesn't control it. He lets it run across his body. And Saka's quick, so he's got two options. Then Saka, he goes directly to the byline, gets the cross in, or he cuts across Luke Shaw. And two things will happen there. Shaw will pull out the tackle, or they'll get a penalty kick. And that's the issue with that, you see. That's why if you go
because of that slide, Stu, you know and I know this has now screwed the entire defensive setup.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. So if it gone back to the very beginning, if Bruno had stayed put on Saka, then okay, it was terrible by Dorgu and Mount. It was awful. But then Shaw comes across and blocks his path, because he's either going to go directly into Casemiro or he goes into Shaw. Bruno makes the error. I know it sounds daft, but Bruno's the killer there. Because Mendy, by the way, is
back to the very beginning before it rolls on, literally 0.0. Right?
But I wouldn't have had Dorgu where he was, by the way. I don't like Mount deal with that.
Well, first off, I am not expecting to see Sesko where Mount is. Mount was playing as the false 9. We thought, by the looks of things, or at least that's how it seemed. He was always the player up top when the ball went long. Okay, so or if he was a 10 and Cunha was, they're still in the wrong positions for this.
Yeah, that's Cunha there, isn't it? Yeah.
I want to look at the Euro, De Ligt, and Shaw. Euro has got his arms out, like what we're doing. De Ligt is trying to communicate with Luke Shaw right there.
But that's okay there.
At the back of Shaw, and he's saying something to him.
But that's okay there. We're good there because De Ligt goes in behind.
He's given an instruction.
Yeah,
he's given an instruction, right?
Yeah,
and most likely it's you stay free. I've got him. You're free, or something. Something simple. It's normally 1 or 2 words.
He wants Shaw to play free.
Bruno's got Saka. You're free. Yeah. Everyone's marked up right here.
Yeah,
but that one mistake, and that's all it takes in football. That's what we try to create when we create patterns of plays, to create a mistake. Communication and that back line was spot on until Bruno jumped.
Yeah,
it was perfect. It was a 5-man defense, and as you say, the delay is there. Now he could have stepped out slightly or looked like he was going to jump, just sort of like a twitch towards the ball. And we're going to see this a lot in the next probably 10 games. These little moves are going to go wrong.
Yeah, this is a trap that's gone wrong, isn't it?
But what I'm trying to say is what we can't have is the player making the mistakes. We've shown 3 of them tonight, but they're not the only mistakes. As I said at the very start, Ahmad tackled his own bloody player in the box, which would have led to a goal. Yeah. And he'd done that in the previous week as well. Bruno, as captain, if he's putting in tackles like this, he cannot tell me what to do on the pitch. That's what I'm saying. As a footballer, if that was my captain, I cannot listen to this guy who's going to get himself sent off, because that is a bad tackle as well. It's a lunge, and it started high because he does come down towards the ground. So if he catches his ankle, we've got another potential red card there. I'm just saying, football's soft now. If those studs come down from a high position onto an ankle,
it was a poor decision.
It's not him. It's a structure, defensive structures that you work on. But right now, we're working on transitions. We're in a 5. We're going to move into a 3 and make the midfield 5 or the front 5, however Amrin wants to do it. These are the things which aren't worked on. These are the things that, we're going to have to work on that this week in training, because you messed this up and you messed that up. It got messed up on the other side as well. You remember that other clip when I said that, not Dorgu, Jesus, Ahmad was too deep. He should have been out closer to his winger.
You're dealing with basics, though. You're dealing with basic football. Now, we don't know whether Dorgu was instructed to push up, but, on that particular phase of play,
it was Dorgu's man on the ball. That's why I say that's the wide full.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Mark, because you allow, and you should allow Mount to be the single tackle on that one. Because if you get Mount in a single tackle,
Mount should be on Subamendi. No, Casemiro should have been on Rice.
No, because Subamendi doesn't ever come into the play. If you watch the play, Subamendi's never in the picture. He's never in the picture. He's not bothered.
No, but as in where Mount should be, as he's playing a false 9.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Yeah, but he wasn't. He was over that side of the pitch. So you don't need 2 players to take somebody on the byline, on the touch line. You have 1 player, and you force
to play inside towards the player. Other player.
So Dorgu's got 2 options then, and and that's where it starts, and then everything else just unfolds.
We're not man marking. As simple as that. As a back 3 against a front 3, you have to man mark.
Yeah. But ultimately, with Subamendi, if push comes to shove, Cunha could have taken him anyway, because Cunha was 10 yards away from him, so Cunha could have picked him up anyway.
But
actually, I think it wouldn't have gone
a little bit more, because then you're condensing the space to play in.
I don't think it would have gone to Subamendi anyway. I think he was always going to go to. But don't forget, we choreographed that for him. We made up Ben White's mind for him. As soon as they both came into him, it was a little flick, a Sabutio flick. It always is, into Ødegaard.
And the touch made it possible to do the others. Now, if it's a bad touch, he couldn't even have turned or played that pass to Saka or turned for the shot.
Two really good chances. They fucked up two really good chances in that game, Arsenal did.
You say that. If Brian Deere only actually made one save.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they moved the ball in the right direction, they would have been in twice.
Yeah,
I think the thing that's interesting, Stu, about the clip that we've just seen is that's United like trying to sort of do an off the cuff press, where and Dorgu's approach is really, really bad. Like when you look at it again, he opens his body up and lets it through. And the thing that's disappointing is that Bruno has seen Dorgu go, I think, and he's gone across to cover Saka,
which is good from Bruno.
Yeah, but it's someone in that back three has then got to come up into the space, because Zubimendi is playing in a really annoying position for Casemiro there. He's dropped back and he's offset and he's trying to pull that defensive shape out. And we've got, they've got two players around our three centre backs, which normally Jarvis were happy with, aren't we? Because it's a +1. And, that means someone can be aggressive. But something has obviously gone wrong there. And it really feels like it's sort of, as you were saying, Stuart, it's a basic thing, because in that situation, we've all got very different views on what should happen. Like, should the line drop back? Should we give up space to the player? Should we go and try and win it? And so on. This can't be what the plan was. And I'm more interested in who was meant to cover Ødegaard. Is it Mount and Dorgu trying to shut the pass off inside? Or is Luke Shaw asleep at the wheel and he should have been the one to go out? Because
no. Ødegaard should have been Bruno's man and Shaw should have had Saka. Simple as that.
I don't think so, because it's if you look at it again, it's very, very clear that when Dorgu jumps up with Mount to apply that pressure, Bruno's definitely tracking Saka.
I agree with what you're saying, and it's clear that is the case. What I'm saying is Saka is the left side and he's the right-sided front three. Shaw is the left-sided centre-back. That is his man. They play three in midfield, narrow, not wide. So the only person who marks a wide player would be Dorgu, takes Ben White. If you are a holding midfielder and they play 2 10s, Declan Rice and Ødegaard, because Rice is that far forward, Casemiro takes one, Bruno takes one. It's man for man, basic marking. Who is affecting me as a player? That is my player. So I would actually be really interested to see the previous 10 seconds of this to why we were in this scenario, because it looks like maybe it was a good switch of play and players have been dragged over. But how many times do we see Bruno in the back line? He's only got to be 5 yards up and Shaw goes over. So is Shaw in no man's land? Or is that what the lit is saying to Shaw? Is you need to get Saka?
No, Shaw's okay there. Shaw's okay there, because don't forget.
They're not. You've got 3 centre backs and they're within 5 yards of each other.
Yeah, but watch it. Once it unfolds, all De Ligt has got to do is take 2 yards back and you're okay, because Rice stays put. So because Rice doesn't move, because Rice doesn't move, that enables us to get back into some kind of shape, and we were in really good shape.
Where is the ball going to go? Stu, you're talking about affecting the game. Where is that ball going to go right now?
The ball was always going to
go to Saka. Saka was blocked.
No, it was always going to Ødegaard. You could tell straight away the ball was always going to go to Ødegaard. You didn't need to watch the game unfold.
But Bruno wouldn't have known that going to go at that point. So that's what I'm saying.
No, but you would, because if you're looking at the game, if you look at the game from De Ligt's pairs of eyes, the only ball on is Ødegaard. If he doesn't go to Ødegaard, he's going all the way back.
No, I'm talking about Bruno wouldn't have known that. Bruno's mid-jog before Ben White even gets in that position to chip it between.
No, but it doesn't matter. Bruno's position, as Darius pointed out, is perfect. He's already noted that Saka's free, so he's moving over to Saka. Ødegaard at that point in time, believe it or not, it's not a problem. It isn't a problem, because you know the ball's going to go there. If you don't,
I'm just saying what I would have wanted, and like for my back three, if Shaw goes over, Bruno can fall in between Shaw and De Ligt as the extra centre back. That's what a holding midfielder does. They feel the gap.
But you'd want Shaw not kind of tucked in, but you would want Shaw alongside De Ligt. Every time the ball's across, you tend to shuffle across anyway. So defenders will move across 5 yards, maybe 6 yards. So you're
all three centre backs are within 5 yards of each other.
And that's okay.
Why if you push Shaw out there and Bruno comes in, if you win the ball back, you can stay wide and you've got an option, and Bruno can come forward. It's just from a coaching point of view, I would write my midfield to fill the gap and my defenders to mark their man for man as a striker.
But you don't need to. As soon as it unfolds, you're in a perfect position with Bruno, Shaw, De Ligt. You're in a perfect position. Line. That's exactly where you need to be.
Well, we got in a perfect position. I just saying for formation, when you're playing three centre backs, your centre backs end up going wide because they have to fill gaps. Yeah, they can't always stay narrow because if a wide runner goes in behind and the wing backs
you'd stay narrow at that point.
Well, that's not how Amorim plays, and you can watch all of it.
They defend the wide areas. The centre back defend the wide areas in Amorim's
mainly on transitions.
No, but on that particular area, you wouldn't. You defend relatively narrow.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So it's interesting how the ball got into such a tight position there where Mount's back in and Bruno's in the left back. That's what I'm saying about the 10 seconds.
Play to that, but
they should have gone from here, out here when we go forward. Yeah. But if it goes wrong, my CDMs can drop in as my 5 and they can be pushed forward by my centre backs as my wing backs come back in because you're delaying.
Did it? But that didn't happen. So all I'm saying is Bruno, by hook or by crook, then was in
by hook or, that's what I'm saying. I think it's
and if he'd stayed put, it didn't matter anyway.
Win-win.
So, and that's what I mean. So with having De Ligt and Shaw quite close to each other, Yoro as well, quite close to each other. Don't forget, you got Rice on the edge. You had 2 or 3 other players in the middle. So you had to be careful of those. You had to take care of those.
Yeah.
So as it turned out, we're in the perfect position. But Bruno
don't forget where Sesko is as well in that clip. Like Sesko's blocking that pass from Ben White, and he's sort of forcing the play to go inside or to go on the outside.
Like I say, you can't go back. It could only go one way.
Yeah, and Casemiro is actually telling them to go back and Hjulmand drop it.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant from Ødegaard, to be honest. But it's also, if you just watch it one more time, Jarvis, just look how Dorgu approaches the tackle. It is dreadful because if you get that kind of stuff right, then that's a brilliant opportunity to launch an attack. And I think it's quite promising. But just look at this, Stuart, how Dorgu approaches.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yuck.
He actually swerves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a weird decision, isn't it?
He's jumped. I would say he's jumped outside. He knows it's his man and he's made a mistake. That's that kind of thing. Like, I've got to push him inside here. Swerve right there. He plants his foot and he changes his body shape.
Yeah, but it's not like I think that's what he's meant to do. I think that this is a trap that we've set, but based off the position of Sesko, that there's no pass back. There's a risky one inside. You can see, and I guess Zubamende is reacting a bit quicker than Casemiro because he's spotted the danger and he's running to give an angle to Ben White, who's on the ball. It's just something's gone wrong here, and it's.
I think that's where I'm right. I think I'm right. That's why Luke Shaw should be on him. You put Bruno on him, and that trap works.
Yeah, if you put Bruno here,
that trap would work. If Bruno was there,
Saka completely free.
Yeah, but
no. If Luke Shaw,
he can't reach Saka because it's impossible because we trapped him.
But guys, we're analysing the play. That's what we're analysing. We're not analysing what should have happened. We're analysing the play, and none of that happened.
No. So we made the best of a bad decision, and then we made another bad decision on top.
Yeah. So the defensive analysis we're giving is right because in essence the whole issue here was Bruno. making that tackle. That's the problem. If he hadn't done it, if he'd stayed where he was, we would have sorted.
Back to start. But we could actually sit here and analyze this all night. It's been a great debate. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We
don't know what they've been told, so.
It's a nerd fest. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We love talking about football, breaking down. This is what the channel is all about. It's about tactical analysis of every little detail of the game. So I hope you enjoyed it. You can have your say in the non-live section after the show. What you think? Who was in wrong here? Was it Bruno? Was it Dorgu? Was it Luke Shaw? Who knows? Only Amarim knows this, how he wants it. I just want to say, do we have time for a couple of questions? I think we have 5-6 questions started.
We've got a couple of questions, haven't we?
Yeah, we can do 10 minutes too, because I can't go all night. I have an early start tomorrow, so.
Yeah, we've got. We won't take any more questions, and we'll just do these.
Yeah, nice. Okay, let me play or
we're going to go straight into it.
We can do a Q&A.
Damn, we look young in that intro, Jarvis. We look young. Guys and gals, I hope you enjoyed that debate. There's nothing good for me than a defensive debate. I absolutely love it. Mark and Darius on point as always. Jarvis just loving it and lapping it up as he does. Guys, We've got 10 minutes. We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. 290 of you watching in total. I don't know what the split is, Jarvis. Do you know what the split is?
No.
Okay, don't worry about the splits. Anyway, and we do have a systems question. I think we might leave that till later. Right. So first question, Darius, to you. Has Amarim decided Bayindir is his number one? That's from Madhouse.
I think he probably has. I saw him give an almost psychotic press conference about Bayindir and Onana, talking about how Bayindir then went and saved a penalty after his last error. I find it difficult to imagine a world where any manager isn't just sick to death of Onana. But yeah, I would think that he'd love a new one, but Bayindir, I think, might be the guy going forwards.
Yeah, no, I think I'm in agreement with you on that one. Great stuff. Right, boxing straight talk. Hope you're still watching, pal. Question for the panel. I think we kind of touched on this, but we'll go around the panel. Who would you pick for a midfield ball winner? Someone who's attainable. Jarvis.
Yeah, I've been scouting a guy. Actually, Sean, United versus everyone, who mentioned this guy, and it's Mamadou Sangare, plays for Rapid Vienna. Yes. Brilliant midfielder, and I think we should go for someone like him. He reminds me a little bit of Baleba, but he has a passing range also. But it's the Austrian league, so it's hard to say how we will do in the Premier League. But he's a punt, and I think we are in a place now in less than 2 weeks. As Rashmano said, we don't have many days left to negotiate the deal, so I would actually try to do something like that. I think that will be sensible. But besides that, as Mark mentioned, there's only one, and that's Hjulmand, Morten Hjulmand, or how they say it in Danish, Morten Hjulmand.
Hjulmand. Okay, lovely. Mark?
Jarvis just said his name. For me, he's obtainable. If we're going to go for a midfielder, for me, that's the one you got to go get. But I will say, we only need less for about 2 hours to do a deal. It's funny how many deals get done on the last day.
Yes, indeed.
That many weeks. So
as long as the deal sheet gets in before it's 11 o'clock.
As long as you paying the money they want, you can get it done as fast as you want. But yeah, Hjulmand for me as a ball winner. Yeah, Hjulmand Baleba is the dream.
Lovely. Darius?
I don't know how available he is, but I like Amadou Onana at Aston Villa. But
yes.
no, they've sold a player today. I really like Elliot Anderson at Nottingham Forest, but I'm not sure if you can negotiate with Forest. But I'd be very happy with Hjulmand coming in.
No, I'd agree with that. I'd still go with Sanderberg personally, but I wouldn't be adverse to Hjulmand. I would have gone Paolini 3 years ago. I wouldn't have even batted an eyelid. Would have gone Paolini. We'll do the system one in a bit. All right. Isn't the panel worried United haven't won 5 games back to back under Amorim?
They won 2 games back to back.
No, that's true. Are we worried? Look, it is what it is. We're in transition. It's a big season for him. We'll win more than we lose this year. Whether we win 5 back to back, I don't know, but we'll win more than we lose. Jarvis?
Yeah, for me, I'm looking for. We're not going to win the league this season anyway. I don't think we have a chance in hell. I'm almost certain that we won't get top 5. So in a way, I'm just looking for progress. I want to see better, when it comes to football. 5, no, I don't think we will ever see 5 back to back. But
top 5.
Well, top 5.
Yeah.
No, we're not getting top 5. No, we're not.
66 points. You've heard it here first.
That rules out one of the questions you asked if we're getting top 4.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. There is one in there, isn't there? Yes.
5 in a row. I think it's more than capable of doing it this year. There's teams are not great.
In the Premier League, let's say, but not maybe if you have a cup run, League Cup, FA Cup, and then
League Cup and that. Yeah.
Well, we're going to win 2 in a row. We're going to win the next 2. Then we play City, and that's the thing. It's about how your games fall. You can't expect runs if they're broken up every couple of games with a tough team. Like shit happens. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's football. I think we've got a chance of beating City as well. Come on.
I'm still waiting for our win against Arsenal. You promised.
Well, we were almost there. Almost there. Darius, did we beat Fulham on Sunday?
Yeah, we always beat Fulham.
I think we beat.
No
Fulham.
worries.
I think we beat Fulham. Yeah, Jarvis.
Yes.
Mark.
Yeah. No, I think we beat them, but I'm really interested to see do we play exactly the same way, because that's all I care about. I want to see that to go against teams like Fulham. I really want to see us play like that.
I think he's got to, hasn't he, really? I think he's got to stick to his principles and play a similar way or the same way. So be interesting to see. And the madness, there was a sweep of 0 chance to your question, fella. But you never know. You got to keep believing. Right. Mark, Joe Buckley's there's question. How do you think Sesko affects that first half before Arsenal park the bus?
I think I touched on it at the beginning of the show. I don't think it's Sesko. I think it's any goal scorer is in that box for those cutbacks when Dalot pulled them back. Well, I am worried that we start putting crosses in because Sesko's so good in the air. I haven't actually seen him score that many headers. Peter Crouch was taller than him, and he never scored headers. That's not his game. He can head. You all see these clips of him jumping, but he's not against a defender. Stu, what are you doing against a tall player with a great leap? You're just going to lean on him as he jumps.
I'm going to stop him jumping.
Yeah, so I think
Jarvis.
I'm intrigued. I'm fuming that we didn't have a striker on the pitch. I would have started him. Played him for 45 minutes, and subbed on whoever is another bloody striker. False 9 does not work. But is that not why we look so good? We had an extra midfielder.
I think he starts Sunday.
I agree.
It's a difficult one, Joe. It's a really good question, actually. It's perhaps we'll have a better answer, I think, next Sunday night. Tune in next Sunday night.
I expect a solid 45 minutes from any professional footballer.
Yeah, we should have.
Pre-season or not.
Yeah, totally agree. Another question here, guys. Living versus everyday Bible. Okay. Question. Do we play with the same intensity all season, or will we drop? And do we have one or two more signings? Darius, I'll let you start with that. Good question. Jarvis, and then Mark.
I am not sure about that because, as you know, I'm extremely concerned about the physical flaw of our team and fitness and so on. I'm not sure, how fit Arsenal were, to be perfectly honest, and I don't know if we can take that as a barometer. But everyone did look fit, and everyone, obviously Shaw came off a bit early and so on, but they all looked fit. I would bloody hope so. Amorim is Portuguese; they're obsessed with sports science and pre-seasons and so on. If they are not fit, then you've got to sack him and get someone else in my opinion, because that is 90% of what he talks about is athleticism and getting players that can run in. He's had the time now. They've got to be at that intensity for the rest of the season, especially with just one game a week.
Yeah, no, totally agree. While Jarvis is reading Steph's comment, Mark.
With Steph's comment, I prefer Ragnarok, which was set in Norway. Actually, I sort of agree with Bath Time. I am worried about our players staying fit at that high intensity, but the one game a week might be what enables us to do it. But the flip side is it takes more than 2 weeks to get players super fit, right?
Yeah.
And they'd obviously been given a lot of information. We saw them come back like they've all been bloody chewing down steroids or something for the whole pre-season and the 8 weeks off or whatever it was they had, because their body shapes were just athletic the way they come back. But no, I think we can if we stay fit. We've got a squad where we can do a bit more squad rotation. I think when we play Grimsby, you'll see pretty much the bench from Sunday be the starting lineup. You know, your Heatons, your Fredricksons, people like that. Maguire's can come in. So that's going to enable that intensity to stay and fighting for positions. The only right reason intensity drops off is if the belief in the manager drops off. So intensity stays if you're winning games.
Yeah. Jarvis?
What was the question again? I only read Stephanie.
It was, do we play with the same intensity all season, or will we drop? We
will drop. We will drop the fitness level. Even though we only have one game a week, I think we will drop because I know these players, they can't handle the fitness regime over a full season, and we have a lot of internationals and they will play. Although it's only one game a week, it will be at least one game a week for the whole winter. And we know that players like Luke Shaw will get injured again. I think Casemiro will pick up an injury. We have other players but Bruno will stay fit. He will play all season long. So I think we'll struggle a little bit. But...
Yeah, I think it's difficult.
As for the signings, Stu, quickly for the signings, I think we've got one more in us.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. I think fitness-wise, it is difficult to maintain it solidly. You can't help by picking up injuries. You can't help getting ill. It happens. Everyone's human. But we should be fitter than we were last season by way of lack of games. But we shall.
Unless we stop going to a World Cup, we'll never be as fit as we can be.
No. Well, yeah, that's true. And it is a World Cup year, yeah. Great question. See what else have we got. Very quick yes or no answer. Freddie says, does the club address the goalkeeping issue this window, or is it too late? Jarvis?
No, I think it's too late. I have to be honest. I see we have been linked to Lamens again. Even Martinez, I saw. At least I saw the headline from Mr. Goldbridge himself talking about Martinez. But no, I think it's too late. If another team sells their goalkeeper, they have to replace him with 2 weeks left. The goalkeeper position is so vital. So I think that will be a tough one. A goalkeeper signing needs to come early in the window, unless you go for something like Donnarumma was forcing his way out. But again, it's about personalities, and I don't think we want those type of players that's forcing the way out of the team. So yeah, I think we're better off actually than going with Donnarumma. When you think of it long term, it could be trouble.
Okay, Darius.
Completely agree with Jarvis. It's too late. Like, they've been messing about with build-up play all summer and so on, and to drop in like a new player, I can't see it happening.
Yeah, Mark.
I think we're fucking stupid if we do not put a bid in for Donnarumma because of the price. I think you've got to do it. You've got to do it for the fan base. You've got to do it for saving face and not doing it. Whether we get him or someone else goes him, I think we have to bid for him. I think he's too good to let go. I think Aston Villa have now sold enough players to hold on to Martinez, so we won't get Martinez because they do not want to sell him. Otherwise, I wholeheartedly agree. It's too late. There's certain signings you need in that door from day one, and the goalkeeper is one of them.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I think Ter Stegen could well be an option. He's not going to play at Barcelona, so we should be able to get him relatively straightforward. I think it may.
Yeah, again, he didn't do anything wrong there. That's a choice they've made.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so I think it'll be that could be an interesting option for us. But apparently they all want Lamans, but I don't know enough about him really.
I think
I don't know about
Belgium.
Belgium, yeah, keeper. Yeah, plays.
Is it Club Rouge?
Rotterdam. No, it's not.
So he's not even up against Rangers this week in the Champions League qualifier. So I'm sorry, Jarvis. I know these stats come up, but please tell me what amazing players are shooting against him. I can put if we put him in goal against a Sunday League side in England, it'd be in the top 1%.
It's true. It's true. But you gotta. I'm not looking entirely at stats. I've seen some compilations. I'm trying to study him as best as I can. But I like his technique, his goalkeeping technique. He's tall.
He's got a nice presence, nice wingspan.
Yeah, nice presence. You know, he reminds me of Courtois or someone like Oblak, a guy who I really rate. You know, so yeah,
that's one of the names on my list of wants. But would you start him?
Well, maybe. But I gotta give him some time. You know, as you said, it comes from the Belgium league. He needs time to adapt to the Premier League. So coming in now,
I don't think we buy them
around Christmas time. You gradually start to put him in the team, the League Cup, the FA Cup. See if he can deal with it. You know, if he can deal with the pressure playing on Old Trafford for 80,000 people, you know, give him a chance.
Brighton took that goalkeeper, the Belgian goalkeeper, before that we were looking at. And
Verbruggen, no, what's his name? Was it Verbruggen?
Something like that, it's definitely. But he didn't fare well in the Premier League, did he? And he was looking really good with the ball. We were looking at him and the Japanese goalkeeper, Antwerp. Yeah. So it's a hard one for me. If it's 20 to 30 million, you've got a bid for Donnarumma. It's peanuts. It's absolute peanuts. We've just got that from selling or the sell-on clause for Alfonso Fernandes, haven't we? So you just got to do it.
Time will tell on that one. 2 weeks, we will know. Very quick one. Yes or no answer. End the madness. Do you think Amorim will be sacked by Crimbo? My answer to that is no. Jarvis?
Well, I said to everyone that he will be sacked if he's not getting backed this summer. And I don't think he's been backed. We still lack a midfielder. We lack a goalkeeper at least. And the other signings, Seshko came in late, and then Bruno came in late. They didn't get the preseason that we wanted. So they haven't backed Amorim properly. And we know what happens with Man United managers that are not getting backed. We've seen it before. So, but will it happen around Christmas? No, but I think he will struggle. I think he will struggle. The nice will be out.
I think he'll be all right. Bath time, yes or no? Do you think Amram will be sacked? But you do. And Mark?
Yes. I'm in Jarvis's corner, so it's a nice 50-50 split. I think no, because I don't think you buy these players that we've bought for someone else's system.
Yeah. But I don't think he gets fired, so good question, but I'm not 100% sure. Tyrone, thanks for that, Ender Madness. Tyrone's got a question. He says, do you think Sesko is good enough to become a world-class number 9? Or could he be another Hjulmand? I'll quickly chip in on this one. There's no such thing as world-class in football. It's the biggest myth on the planet. Players are not world-class. They are football players. How you define world-class is impossible. So will he become world-class? No. Will he become a very good centre forward or number 9? Absolutely. That's my take on that one. Darius?
Well, for me, a world-class player is the best player in his position. I'd be very surprised if Sesko became the best number 9 in the world. But I think that he's got everything you need to be a very, very good Premier League player. And it's down to his mentality, his ability to handle pressure, and if we can set up a team that can service him. But absolutely. I bloody hope so.
Yeah. Mark?
Me too.
Jury's out. I haven't seen it. I've seen enough of him, but he hasn't done enough to make me think he could be the next Haaland, Salah, or anything in the Premier League that's scored plenty of goals. But I was on the show last week saying if we swapped him and Rasmus scores more goals in Germany than he scores in the Premier League.
You did. Jarvis, I won't ask you because I know there's only one world-class player ever for you, and that is Sir Diego Maradona. So he hasn't got becoming world-class. Stephanie's got a great question here, and this is right up my street, this question. And she says, why aren't teams putting at least 1 or 2 players on the halfway line when facing rival corners anymore to occupy opposition defenders? Surely that will disrupt them. Don't need everyone back. Such a good, well thought out, intelligent question that is.
So true.
Who wants to go first on that one? Jarvis.
All the time.
Yeah, we talked about this. This is a great question, Stephanie. We talked about this all the time. You talk about going rogue, and sometimes you just need to do it. And also, when you try to play out from the back and the opposition team press you really high, why don't you just go stand on the center line, midfield? What can they do? You just play over them. It's not 2D. It's 3D. So you can actually play over the players. So I don't get it sometimes.
No, you're absolutely right. Your optimum is to defend on the penalty spot, so that if Saliba wants to go in, stand on the goalkeeper, you just, as soon as the ball's kicked, you just leave him in. Thank you very much. Good night, Vienna. It's a great question, Steph.
It's always a conundrum, isn't it, Stu? Though, if they stick 6 in the box and you've only got 4 back, you're telling me you're not going to risk bringing 2 extra players back in it just in case your centre back gets a great header on it to clear it to one of those players.
What you will do, you will try and leave them in. We don't do that. If you notice the way we defended on Sunday, we defended across. They had Saliba in front of the rest of them.
I don't even know what we were doing. That was shit.
Yeah, if we just pushed out 3 yards, Saliba would have had no choice but to come out with us, because as soon as that ball's kicked, he's fucked. But we didn't. We allowed that to happen. And if you remember, and Jarvis, I don't even need to say this because Jarvis will tell you, because I always say this, if you give a defender 2 or 3 yards on you, you're fucked anyway. An attacker 2-3 yards on you as a defender, you're fucked. Absolutely fucked. Because he's going to absolutely destroy you. Even if he doesn't win the ball, his momentum is going to crush you. So
I play 9v9 football. My 2 strikers mark the 2 centre backs at all times, even on corners.
Exactly.
And if the centre backs come up for those corners, I will swap and we'll still keep 2 up front, which means they tend to have a +1, so there'll be 3 at the back, reduces what's in the box. unless they want to gamble. And if they gamble, we might let it go the first time. And you think, okay, if they score from it, we need to drop one back, and we have to deal with that. But if they don't score from it and we counter, then they're going to drop next corner. They're going to leave an extra person back. So,
to be fair, I'd drop a midfielder anyway. Yeah, when we did 9-a-side years and years ago, we was used to stick a midfielder on the halfway line. Just one midfielder. We just leave one midfielder on the halfway. Usually the smallest. We just leave him there.
It can be done,
It can be done. Yeah, it can be done. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great question, Steph. Well thought out question. And
I'll tell you what, you could do that. Donnarumma, come and take that ball in the air at 6'7", with arms above your head, over 7 foot tall.
Well, Ray does it, no problem. Ray,
and then you've got a wide ball counter, a 3-3. Yeah, it's amazing, but it's the riskiest football out there.
Sometimes you gotta risk it. Great question, Steph. Thanks for that. Freddie's coming in. We've got 2 questions to go. We got this one and we have another one. Freddie says, what is the minimum number of goals that is acceptable from each of the new front 3 this season? We'll start with you on that one, Darius. Premier League and all comps.
For the Premier League, I would say 7 from Cunha and Bueno, and 13 or 14 from Sesko. Like, we're not a team that scores a lot of goals.
No.
I would ideally, I'd love to get 35 or 40 goals out of the 3 of them, but I can't see it happening. So what's acceptable is double figures for the striker and double figures for the wide players.
So you think 28, give or take?
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic, to be honest. Like, you think back to like Martial, Rashford, Greenwood, they managed to get 60, I think, in the COVID season in all competitions.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
How many are you giving Bruno then, if that's the case? Because at the moment, that puts us not even mid-table if we score only that many goals.
That is pretty much where I expect us to be. Bruno, I'll give him 6, mainly from penalties.
Okay. Jarvis?
I think it was 2019-20 when right before Corona, under Ollie, when we had Rashford, who I think he had 20-something, and Martial the same, and Greenwood almost 20 goals. And I think that was a really good trio up top. So that gave us 40, 50, 55 goals. So it's we should maybe expect it with the names we have up front today, but I think the bare minimum is 30 goals. As you said, double figures on everyone, 10 goals each.
Okay.
And none of them are taking the penalties. So Bruno will also have at least 10. Yeah. So those 4 together will be 40 goals.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm the same. If you're an attacking player, you should be scoring 10 goals a season minimum. That's 1 in 3. But I've always say this, and I'm going to keep saying it. Please do not expect a striker to have high figures when he doesn't take penalties. It's 20 to 30% of a striker's goals are penalties. So, yeah, that's the thing. But I expect Bruno, if he is taking set pieces, to chip in with 10 to 15 himself. If we're winning games and affecting the box and winning penalties, there should be 50 plus goals between 4 players.
Yeah. Well, I actually think I think we'll get slightly more out of the 3. I think they'll get about 38. Because I think Mbeumo will probably score around 14, 15. Cunha will get about 10 this year, and I expect Sesko.
So Mbeumo had 5 penalties last year out of his 17, 18 goals, whatever he scored. That's what I mean. He's losing his penalties. Cunha's going to lose his penalties out of his goals tally last year. And Sesko had penalties in his goal tally. So
he got 19, but at the end of the day, maybe they will take some spot kicks. We don't know, do we?
No, we don't. But I'm saying we've got to remember, look at what they scored last year. This is to everyone. And if you take the penalties away, that's what they gave their team.
I think Mbeumo will score 14 to 15. I think Sesko should get up there, and I think Cunha will probably get roughly about 10. Whatever Bruno chips in it. But who knows? Good question. I like it.
20.
Right. Jamie says, lads, do you believe in the new system, or is it 3 injuries away from back to a broken system? Good question, Jarvis. Do you like that question? That was the one I was keeping till last. But
we are 3 injuries away because we have brought in 3 players, and then we are back to last season. We also saw the breakdown, the Europa League final, all the dreadful games. We lost. We couldn't beat even the relegation zone teams. We struggled, against Leicester and stuff like that. So no, we are 3 injuries away. Yeah, because I think the quality in this squad isn't good enough. We can prepare them in preseason, make them a little bit better, but still, all in all, I think we need more signings. And as I said earlier, Amorim hasn't been properly backed, so I think we need at least 2-3 more players. Actually, I was hoping for 5 this summer, but people called me negative. Everybody was saying we are going to sign at least 7, maybe 8 to 10 players. Do you remember Amorim? Did you know what he did in Sporting? Blah blah blah, or in Braga. Yeah. Okay, but this is Man United. We gotta keep it real. So I think we will struggle. We will really struggle if we get 3 injuries on the right players. I think then we are looking at the top 10 at best.
Jarvis, I don't think you're wrong, mate. To be honest, I think you're absolutely right. If we don't add 2 more players, maybe a third, then we are going to struggle. But still, top 5, Jarvis, 66. You read it here first. We've got 2 questions left.
I just want to say we have a raid going on. Someone is raiding us. Gaming Simp is here. Berba, Rob, always United. Berba raid is actually a Berba raid from his.
A Berba raid. Thank you very much.
I hope you're well, my friend.
They've raided us at the wrong time. What a shame. We've got 2 questions to go, and it's we've been going for 2 hours 45 minutes, gentlemen. Thank you, Berber. Absolutely brilliant. Right, 2 more questions, then that's going to wrap up question time. Quick yes or no, Jarvis, Mark, Stu, and bath time. Would you go for Jordan Pickford? My answer to that is no.
Hands down, no. Massive no. He's as bad as Onana for palming the ball back into a danger area.
He is indeed. Darius?
Probably not, no.
I thought that was a clean sweep. Final question, Joe Buckley. Hope you're still watching, Joe. Question is, the $64 million question we were talking about earlier. Why was Mount on Saliba and Shaw and Gabriel one of the best aerial threats in the Prem? Who knows?
I think Mount is on Saliba because he was marking him as a striker. That was his position. As in for the Luke Shaw one, I didn't know about that, and I have no answer to it because that's just fucking ridiculous. We got 3 decent height centre backs. 2 good centre backs in height that could have taken him if Shaw's been given that role. That means that they have set roles depending on position, maybe.
It baffles me what Mount was doing anywhere near Saliba. It just baffles me completely. I just don't know. I can't
see Maguire allowing that if he was in the box. I think we can all agree there. He's saying, no, I'm taking him and that's my ball.
Yeah. I don't understand that. Darius, what was your thoughts on that?
I think that Mount is probably doing what Rasmus did last season, and he's a blocker where he's trying to stop these. They're trying to stop these players getting a run on. But when you have the quality of delivery from Declan Rice and he's standing still, he's just he's getting out wrestled by him, and I think it's a big error with our our setup for corners, and it's something I'd like to see Amorim improve dramatically because every team in the league will have been alerted to the fact that Mount and Bayinda can't stand up straight when a ball gets played in.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, no, I agree. Jarvis, what was your thoughts on that one?
Well, I don't understand. I think it's. I saw we got a question about zonal marking and man marking.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
pieces. Yeah. So it's what the manager wants, and I think we defend in partly zonal, but when it's inside the box, you have to be man marking every.
We hybrid Mark Jarvis. It is rubbish.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
Stu,
I'm
I'm
not sure if I like it, but all the movement for Arsenal makes it difficult if you play a zonal. So I think when you play against Arsenal, there's no way around it. You just have to go man mark, and you got to stick with your man, whatever it takes, and defend.
Well, Arsenal played a very I can't call it a new tactic, but this will lead in from both questions here. Having the 5 runners line up wide on the 18-yard box and come in from there shows they can see the zonal setup. They're now looking at going, well, we know where we've got to run if they're in this zonal setup. Because they'd never seen how Man United were going to line up when they scored that goal, because we hadn't done it. We've hardly faced any corners in pre-season. And I thought it was a very good ploy. I'm actually looking at doing something similar myself. I'm going to rewatch it and see what it gave them by doing it. Because when do you pick up your marker? Do you go out and mark him on the edge of the 18-yard box, man for man? You're probably not going to, are you? Because that would take away from your zonal setup. I thought it was a very clever ploy by him to do it.
Darius?
Yes.
What was your thoughts on that?
Look, it's everyone. Like most Premier League teams use a combination of zonal and defence, zonal and man, as you said, where you put your best headers in certain areas. Like you can see Casemiro on the front post. That is traditionally where you put your best attacking header of a ball, like a Drogba, because they can knock it out, and then you can go for a transition. And if you look up there, you got Cunha, I think, and Shaw holding hands with 2 players. Their role is to block these guys getting any momentum in. So as Mark said, it's really interesting that they started outside the box, because it's almost like they're in the ideal structure for where you would have an attacking transition, and they're trying to clear a space. They're trying to clear a gap for someone to get a run on in the middle. But the most important part of this is Declan Rice's delivery. It's right on top of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's not strong enough, but I mean, I don't know enough at the top level about how you deal with this sort of stuff, but they're just stronger and bigger than us overall.
Well, first off, the player should be on the fucking post, not that far away from the post. That's Rasmus's position from last season. I'm sure. Correct.
Rasmus was a marker. He used to wrestle with players at corners
on the near post.
No, he used to follow them around.
So we put the shortest player on the near post. That's normal. 2 short players on 2 posts, not marking any players. But if they're going to be that far off the post, then they could have been out affecting play. I don't get it. I don't get what we did. But what I'm saying is, by having all those players lined up outside, United didn't jump out and mark them, so they had a clear run. And I think that's how the wrong players got to marking. They didn't. Do you know what I mean? When you cross over or bump into each other.
Here's the interesting thing about a corner, gents. All you're doing is marking a free kick. That's all you're doing. Now, we defend free kicks really, really well. We very rarely get done by a free kick.
Yeah.
We rarely get done by a free kick on outside the box or within the catchment area of the corner. Even if it's in the dark shaded line just at the edge of the pitch, we seem to defend those better. What we don't do is, and this is a really big bugbear of mine, we don't identify what the opposition are doing. So when we're setting up for a corner and we're not looking at Rice, we're looking at where the opposition are. We're not making a calculated decision about what to do. If I was buying deer, I'd have pushed this out slightly to the edge of the 6-yard box. They were always going to come in, whether they were lining up on the edge of the area or not, they were always going to come in. Because if you look at it, they were leaving Saliba isolated at that point if they didn't come in and make the run. And Darius
where was the ball going to go?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So Darius is right. What Arsenal have done here more than anything is they've allowed our defenders to get preoccupied with the men and not Saliba. Yeah. That's the key. All the key to this is, And if you play it back, Jarvis, they fight us. Darius pointed out from the penalty spot ish into the area. They fight us. They're pushing. They're pulling. There you go. Watch them.
Well, they're the only two players. Everyone else is technically going to get a free header.
No, because we're watching them, but they don't come in because these three know at the back exactly where Rice is going to put it. They don't need to be in there. They know exactly where Rice is going to put it. Calafiori is already pissing about with Dorgu. Dorgu was weak there at that point. But the point being, the very start of this, it was Saliba. And if you left Saliba in, they wouldn't, and we were a little bit stronger on the outer side of the 6-yard box. We may have got away with it. I'm not saying we would have, because Darius is right. The actual corner, the delivery was perfect. It was.
Can I just say, from this angle, if our players were on the fucking post, the back post could have cleared that, and it wouldn't even have affected Dorgu marking his player. The back post player on the actual post steps forward and headers it back from where it came from.
Very rare players are put on the back post anymore in the Premier League. I don't know why. We do it, on a Saturday afternoon.
He's there. He's there, Stu. Look, when Jarvis came back at the beginning, he is there on the back post. He's just away from it.
Yeah, I know. But if you clear the header and you don't clear straight away.
Where does he actually go? Because he doesn't go into Saliba, does he?
No.
Dorgu's marking Calafiore. So where does he actually disappear to?
Yeah, but
he gets handed off.
Yeah, when you put a player on the post, if we clear the ball and it gets headed straight back in, you've got no chance of catching them offside, because chances are he won't get out quick enough. And
I also think, Stu, that it's really easy to pin the goalkeepers in these days, and you'd have to do on the post, so you can stand a bit further out.
Too easy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we're letting this happen, because if you take all the players out of this, even like just have Saliba there, he's the one that causes the goal, because Mount isn't strong enough. Yeah, it's a beautiful delivery, but all this pushing and pulling, it apart from possibly on Dorgu, it doesn't matter, because the keeper's just got to be better here. Mason Mount's got to be better here, because I think that we actually defend this relatively well, apart from those two. Like Cunha and Shaw block them pretty well. You can see that Mbuemo is actually exactly where you want him, in between those three, because he's also the outball there. There's no one else there.
If you look, Darius, we're wrestling in the right area as well. So we've ultimately, if Mount and Saliba weren't there, that's the space where Blind is supposed to be occupying. So we are okay. I agree with you. But equally, Mark's right and you're right. Arsenal have used that as a distraction. So they're pushing us back and they're fighting us, as you quite pointed out, from the penalty spot onwards. But the delivery, for this to work, by the way, the delivery has got to be pinpoint. It has
to be on the point. Biggest mistake is Mason Mount. The biggest mistake is Mason Mount. He's the wrong side of his player. That is inexcusable. It's not to be goal side.
Yeah, it's too weak. They're both too weak.
It's not even weak. He pushed him in front, and then held him there. No, you just push him back before the ball even gets kicked. You stop the play. You grab hold of him.
He's not strong enough.
Bayern Deer should have used his elbow to hold Saliba down in place.
You've got to get your arms on top of the player.
Correct. And he didn't.
Stop that jump. And the other thing about this, I think that they might be doing this running from outside the box, because at the beginning of the Premier League, there's always some stupid directive about shirt pulling or something like that.
There is a new directive. 2 hands, you can have 1 hand on the player, but if you put 2 hands on them, it's meant to be a free kick. Go back to that clip and look how many people have faced up.
Yeah, look at Fulham and Shaw.
Yeah, they're all at it, all of them, every single one of them.
It can now only ever be 1 meter away from the wall. That's apparently a new rule that's always been a rule, but no one knows about a rule, but I know about that rule. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what cost Palace a goal, wasn't it? Because of that. But,
you see him charge the player back the other way. I think it's
it was stupid, wasn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why he did it, because it's a brilliant free kick as well from Eze. Absolutely brilliant. But there you go. I mean, again, a great debate. So I hope that's answered your question about it, because it's, ultimately, as I keep saying, a corner is a fucking free kick, and we forget that.
Yeah.
It's no offside though, Stu.
No, that's right. You know, and we forget it's we forget it's a free kick we're allowing them. That
you say there's no offside. Don't forget, they if you get that, if you're not going to put players on the post and you get high, that has to go in. Otherwise, a touch in there, and then they're offside.
Phase 2, yeah. Phase 2, yeah. Phase 1's the kick. Phase 2 is whatever happens.
Yeah,
but what I mean is you can't set up to have the offside trap as
your no, not from the initial kick. Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah.
Everyone is popping it right on the goalkeeper now, or trying to do that Olympico into the corner. And Manchester United should bloody realise this. Like we've been, I haven't seen all of the pre-seasons, but I saw like the Fiorentina, some of the stuff that's been going on from set pieces is absolutely disgraceful, and it's not all down to individual errors from Mount. It's the whole setup is wrong with wrong personnel.
Jarvis made the point last night. He was surprised that Maguire didn't start for that reason.
Yeah, he should have started because we knew this was coming. Everybody knew.
Maguire, De Ligt, Euro, because of the high balls.
But the corners that we conceded after, corners we conceded after, and we were trying to avoid conceding corners. We defended okay. We got it right, didn't we? But anyway,
top level, Stu.
Yes, exactly.
Don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
3 hours on the second now, guys. We have to wrap it up. We can stay here all night, but we have to. I have an early start tomorrow. I'm already 1 hour behind schedule, so. You know how it is. It's been a great show. I'm so grateful that when we have Darius Mark on the show, we can sit here and talk for hours. Pure football. I love it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as the same as I did. Yeah, it was a good show. And the madness, Stian Gaming, Dan P, Joe Buckley, Freddie coming in with brilliant questions. All of you, the Burba raid that came in. All the questions that we got from Madhouse, the 10 gifts from Roshmano, Boxing Straight Talk, Jamie. Is it just me? 43. Who else? And the madness with all his positivity. I'm glad we have some positive Man United supporters still on board, even though we got a reality check yesterday. But everything can turn around next game against Fulham, and we will be positive again. This is how it is being a Man United supporter. So I want to thank everybody. If you haven't, now it's a time to smash the like. TK is coming in at the end. He say this game was lost for 3 reasons. Amorim weak initial lineup. Weak goalkeeper, and
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, big up TK, big up. Thank you. Sorry, thank you everybody, and we have Balto Matev coming in and saying something that we don't want to say out loud. But big up everybody. Have a good night, everybody, and. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment in the non-live section.
We're back Thursday, aren't we? We're back Thursday, aren't we? Yes. Yeah, we'll be back Thursday night.
Thursday night, 9 p.m. At least you and I. I don't know if the rest of the panel is around, but yeah.
Devilish Tacticos, tune in Thursday. We'll have a preview of Fulham coming up, so we'll get the old tactical board out, won't we, Jarvis? And we will talk about that. Please go follow Mark on the Balls Out podcast. Have you got a show tomorrow night, Mark? Or
we're looking to do one either Thursday or Friday, preview to the weekend. And we're just getting ourselves back up and running in the swing of things now. The season is up and going.
Good. Well, please go and follow Mark. And you all know Bath Time. Please go and follow Bath Time. Darius, thank you ever so much, mate, for coming on. Always hugely knowledgeable and insightful. Same with you, Mark. Love having you two on because I love talking football.
Okay. That's it. That's the end of the show. Everybody, have a good night. And we will see you on Thursday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.